Ready to tackle that building project? Start right. Start here at H&L Rapid True Value for building supplies. The time by H&L Rapid True Value is
Nationwide time, 5 o'clock.
Learn about smart betting strategies with AnyBet. Bet wisely, enjoy responsibly, and maximize your success. The temperature by AnyBet is
28 degrees Celsius in Kingston and Montego Bay.
From the Nationwide News Network, comprehensive, incisive, tough. This is Nationwide at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Roby Ann Williams.
In Nationwide News at this hour, the Chinese mechanics who've caused a stir at Ferry Pen in St. Catherine are working in the country illegally.
Nationwide news sources say none of the 10 Chinese mechanics working at the company have a valid work permit.
The PSOJ president is confident that Jamaica can withstand any negative effects of the projected decline in global growth.
I am confident that we have done the hard work to allow us to be resilient.
The Finance Ministry says no timeline for payment of increments by April was ever negotiated with the JCTU.
CRC member rejects claims that proposed amendments to the country's constitution would remove the opposition's veto in the Senate.
The numbers were changed, but that responsibility that the opposition has to be a check on the legislative process, that wasn't changed at all.
In news from the rest of the world, Trinidad and Tobago police investigate potential threats aimed at disrupting the April 28 general election.
China tells Trump if you want trade talks, cancel tariffs.
In headline sports, Jamaican high schools sizzle on opening day of 129th Penn Relays in Philadelphia.
And later in our broadcast, in the cover story at 5:35, Nationwide News understands that the Chinese mechanics working at the Wholehearted Car Services Company in Ferry Pen, St. Catherine are doing so illegally. What are the protocols to monitor foreign workers in the country? Labour Minister Pernell Charles Jr. will tell us.
In Public Opinion at 6:26, we ask, what has been your experience with Jamaican mechanics? Give us your comments by logging on to our Facebook page, Nationwide News Network, and by tweeting us at Nationwide Radio, and message us on WhatsApp at 876-285-5693. You can also leave your comments on Instagram at Nationwide 90FM.
In the nation's business at 6:40, the new administrative block on the main building of the Cornwall Regional Hospital has been reopened. The Health Minister, Dr. Christopher Tufton, is hailing the development as a significant milestone. He'll join us.
And at 8, it's Jamaican Dads with Dennis Brooks, Garth Williams, Marlon Campbell, and Floyd Green.
All these and more as we take you home on air on your mobile. Nationwide 90 FM, Nationwide Radio, JM.com, and on the Nationwide app. Available on the Google Play and the App Store. This Thursday afternoon, it's Thursday, April 24, 2025.
This hour is brought to you by the new KFC Saucy Wings. Hot and spicy wings tossed in mango habanero or buffalo sauce. Wings that will crunch the rest. New KFC Saucy Wings. It's finger-licking good.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
And now to the details. Nationwide News understands that the Chinese mechanics who work at the Wholehearted Car Services Company in Ferry Pen, St. Catherine are doing so illegally. Our sources say not one member of the team of 10 mechanics working at the company are in possession of a valid work permit. Our sources say that up to news time, no application for work permits had been submitted on behalf of the men. Tawna Thomas reports.
Social media has been flooded with videos and comments by persons singing the praises of the team of Chinese auto mechanics at WH Car Services located along the growing industrial belt in Ferry Pen. Some users say the Chinese are a godsend, freeing them from having to deal with rapacious local mechanics who charge an arm and a leg for subpar services served up with bad attitudes. Motorists flood the WH facilities daily, literally. Several videos posted online show queues of motorists outside the main gate of the facility from as early as 3 a.m. Such is the demand for services that the management at the facility has had to restrict servicing to 30 cars per day. Despite this, scores of motorists descend on the location daily, hoping to be among the lucky 30.
This is the line to get in there at 3 a.m.
I want to sleep. We came in yesterday morning and we did not get through. There was like 50 plus cars here. I think we have a better chance. 5:45 and I'm on no sleep.
It's 5:44. I don't know where Gear get 5:45 from. I'm on 20% sleep.
20%?
Yes.
Bro, you sleep longer than all of me. You sleep longer than all of me.
Apparently, they're only taking 20 cars today. And Josh falls right in that window. So hopefully Josh gets through.
If you don't hear from me, that's because we're running out of food. Because right now, a 1 piece of spice one we have and a 3 man.
But there's a slight problem, maybe a major one. None of the Chinese mechanics is permitted to be undertaking any kind of work in the island. The man who told both major newspapers that he's the manager of the facility, Ming Zhen Chen, says he has 10 mechanics working under his charge. Or sources say none of those mechanics holds a work permit. Where Chen is concerned, or sources say he does indeed have authorization to work in the island. However, it's understood that his permit is for work at a wholesale establishment in Mandeville, Manchester. Or sources say following the excessive media coverage which the garage has attracted, Labour Minister officials and other state agents visited the facility to inquire about the status of the Chinese workers. It's understood they were told by Chen that the workers had paid a man who claimed he could process the work permits for them. The workers could only give the authorities a first name for the man, along with an 876 phone number. Or sources say state agents have been calling the phone number for days without success. Nationwide News has reached out to Labour Minister Pernell Charles Jr. for a comment. Minister Charles's office says he will address the issue during Nationwide's cover story this afternoon at 5:30 p.m. Tawna Thomas for Nationwide News.
Meanwhile, all non-Jamaicans who want to pursue gainful work while on the island must apply for and be granted a work permit. The Ministry of Labour and Social Security sets out in detail the process that must be engaged by individuals desirous of seeking a work permit or work permit exemption. Dana Davey reports.
The only person exempt from needing a permit to work in Jamaica is a diplomat, a person married to a Jamaican, or a CARICOM national covered under the Free Movement of Skilled Persons Act of 1997. Work permits are granted for a period of up to 3 years and attract a non-refundable processing fee of $17,250. Once the work permit letter is granted, the applicant may use that letter to enter Jamaica. However, they must obtain an extension of stay at the Passport, Immigration and Citizenship Agency to allow them to extend their time in Jamaica beyond the time initially given on entry. They are also required to have the work permit endorsed in their passport. It can take anywhere between 6 and 10 weeks to process an application for a work permit. When approved, the employer is required to pay the work permit fee upon receiving the notice of approval. An application for a work permit in excess of 30 days must be accompanied by a cover letter addressed to the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Labour and Social Security. That cover letter must state the efforts made to recruit a Jamaican to undertake the work contemplated. The letter must also state the expected duration of the work to be undertaken by the applicant. A resume must be included with the application for a work permit. Additionally, a letter of recommendation from the applicant's previous employer or evidence of the applicant's business activity abroad must accompany the application for a work permit. There's a list of 14 professions, occupations, or trades for which an applicant for a work permit must submit their professional certificates. The list includes accountants, attorneys at law, medical lab technicians, architects, dentists, barbers, engineers, land surveyors, doctors, nurses, fisherfolk, and teachers. At least for the Chinese workers at WH Care Services, the list does not include auto mechanics. Dana Davey for Nationwide News.
President of the Private Sector Organization of Jamaica, the PSOJ, Metri Siaga, is confident the country can withstand any negative effects of the projected decline in global growth. The International Monetary Fund, the IMF, in its World Economic Outlook, projects global growth to drop to 2.8% in 2025 and 3% in 2026. For Latin America and the Caribbean, growth has been revised downwards to 2% in 2025 and 2.4% in 2026. Speaking with Nationwide News, Mr. Siaga says while he's concerned about the numbers, he has no worries about Jamaica's resilience.
Yes, that is a concerning number, but it's international, and what we have to do is to make sure that as a country we remain resilient. The hard work that the government and the previous government have done really puts us in a good space to be resilient. Our economy, our macro economy, it's in a very stable position, and I feel we're resilient. We have proven that against the many of the issues that we have had, hurricanes and COVID and things of that nature. And we have come out the other end looking and smelling like a rose. So I am confident that we have done the hard work to allow us to be resilient.
Mr. Siaga's comments follow a meeting with leaders, or rather between leaders in the private sector, held with Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness and Foreign Affairs Minister Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith at the PSOJ's headquarters in Kingston. Mr. Siaga says the private sector was encouraged by the conversations during the meeting.
We discussed trade negotiations that have been going on internationally, the tariffs that have been put on us as a country, how the government has been handling it, what the government's plans are moving forward. And we discussed a raft of other things that are important issues in the country. So we were very happy with the way the Prime Minister and the Minister explained how they have been handling it, and we are pleased with the outcomes that we have seen so far and continue to pledge our support for the government to continue doing what it's doing in that regard.
Metri Siaga, President of the PSOJ.
The Ministry of Finance says no timeline for payment of increments by April was ever negotiated with the Jamaica Confederation of Trade Unions, JCTU. The ministry is responding to alleged discontent among public sector teachers that the agreed increment payments would be pushed beyond the April pay cycle. However, the Finance Ministry in a swift response says the agreed timeline was the first quarter of the financial year. Mahiri Stewart tells us more.
The annual increments were agreed upon as part of negotiations with the Jamaica Confederate of Trade Unions, JCTU, of which the Jamaica Teachers Association, JTA, is a member. Over the last few months, teachers have complained about the slow pace in implementing the terms of that agreement. The teachers say they're also frustrated at news that the increment payments will not be a part of the April pay cycle. But in a release on Thursday, the ministry says a JTA memorandum dated April 23, 2025, to its membership stated that the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service had outlined that payments for the increments should be made during the first quarter of the current financial year. That memorandum was issued by JTA Secretary General Mark Nicely. The ministry says given that commitment, it finds it incredulous that the leadership of the JTA should at the same time indicate to its membership an April timeline for payment that was not agreed upon. It says this is especially concerning given the need for costings to be determined to inform payments. The first quarter of the current financial year, which began in April, will end in June. This means the ministry has until that date to satisfy the agreed payments. The Finance Ministry reiterated its commitment to the payment of increments negotiated through the JCTU. Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
You're listening to the news on Nationwide at 5. We'll have more after these.
Celebrate 26 years with IQ Optical. Enjoy 26% off your prescription eyewear and sunglasses this month only. Book your appointment or take your prescription to IQ Optical in New Kingston, Manor Park, or Drexel. Conditions apply. The time by IQ Optical is...
It's 14 minutes after 5.
Rentokil Initial offers air purification solutions with triple filtration and unique auto-sensing capabilities that neutralizes malodor and replaces it with clean air. Call Rentokil Initial at 926-4236 for more details.
The temperature by Rentokil is
28 degrees Celsius in Kingston and Montego Bay.
New KFC Saucy Wings. Attention all wings lovers. KFC Saucy Wings with 2 new flavors. Mango habanero and buffalo. Hot, spicy. KFC we have Saucy Wings. Delicious, spicy, the best. So a new KFC Saucy Wings crunch the rest. Nobody does wings like KFC. New Saucy Wings is for me.
New KFC Saucy Wings. Delicious, hot, and spicy wings tossed in savory mango habanero or buffalo sauce. Wings that will crunch the rest. New KFC Saucy Wings. It's finger-licking good.
Continuing the news. Member of the Constitutional Reform Committee, Dr. Nadine Spence, is disputing suggestions that proposed amendments to the Constitution would remove the opposition's veto in the Senate. Opposition leader Mark Golding has suggested the proposed constitutional amendment bill would bring Jamaica closer to autocracy by changing the composition of the upper house to include 3 independent senators. However, Dr. Spence says the Reform Committee went to great lengths to maintain key principles of Jamaica's democracy in its recommendations, including the opposition's veto. Siobhan Campbell has that story.
On Wednesday, Opposition Leader Mark Golding stopped just short of accusing the government under Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness of attempting to transform Jamaica into a dictatorship. Defending his rejection of the current push to turn Jamaica into a republic, Mr. Golding says key provisions in the bill violate democratic principles.
They structure this bill so that the opposition no longer has more than 1/3, which is the current system in the Senate. And that means that if they call on a state of emergency, they can extend it for 90 days, and another 90 days, and another 90 days. And the opposition will have no power to stop it because the 2/3 majority will be assured to them, because the president, the prime minister can appoint, is the president to appoint senators as well to take away the power of the opposition in the Senate. That is a recipe for autocracy, for dictatorship, for the repression of Jamaica. And we're standing up to it. We will not support that bill when it comes to the vote in Parliament.
However, public commentator and member of the Constitutional Reform Committee, which put forward the proposed changes, Dr. Nadine Spence, says this is not the case.
The numbers of senators on both the opposition and the government side was changed, and a suggestion for there to be inclusion of independent senators. But that requirement of the plus the additional vote that must come from the opposition was not changed. So the numbers were changed, but that responsibility that the opposition has to be a check on the legislative process, that wasn't changed at all. So there is still the requirement for at least one person from the opposition to vote with the government for any bills to be passed.
Prime Minister Holness has admitted that the process is likely stalled at this time without the support of the opposition. He places the blame squarely at the feet of Mr. Golding, suggesting the opposition leader has gone back on his word. Dr. Spence says, based on the deliberations and consensus among members of the CRC to include opposition-appointed members, she cannot understand how anyone could come away with Mr. Golding's interpretation.
We began the process of deliberating on that particular suggestion with the idea that whatever we come up with, that particular feature of our democracy must be maintained.
Siobhan Campbell for Nationwide News.
A third person who was injured in the February shooting at a candlelight vigil in Mandeville, Manchester, has died. She's 54-year-old Melody Baker, a resident of Mayday in the parish. Baker succumbed to her injuries in hospital shortly after 10 Wednesday night. She had been hospitalized for 2 months. The other victims were 42-year-old Stacey Ann Mulgrave and 46-year-old Anne-Marie Hanson. Patrick Thompson, the licensed firearm holder accused of the deaths, is charged with 2 counts of murder, 2 counts of attempted murder, 2 counts of wounding with intent, and 2 counts of assault occasioning actual bodily harm. He is also charged with 2 counts of assault at common law, 2 counts of possession of firearm and ammunition with intent to commit injury, and using a firearm to commit a felony. Thompson was remanded in custody when he made his 4th court appearance in the Manchester Parish Court on April 14. In denying the application, presiding judge Monique Harrison pointed to the serious charges of murder against Thompson. She also pointed to the prosecution's statement of the prevalence of gun violence in Manchester. Thompson's attorney, King's Counsel Peter Champagny, told the court that he intended to appeal Justice Harrison's ruling. He also repeated requests to see video footage of the February 23 incident, as the video clip being relied on by the prosecution was not accessible. KC Champagny argues that his client was attacked and acted in self-defense. Thompson, otherwise called Big T or Tomo, is scheduled to reappear in court on July 2.
Sandals has announced that its Beaches Ocherius St. Anne location will be closed for renovation effective May 31 this year. Sandals noted that the Ocherius location is its only third-party owned resort. The resort will be renovated with the possibility of a continued relationship with Sandals after the work is completed. Sandals Regional Director for Jamaica, Jeremy Jones, gave the update in a letter to staffers today. Mr. Jones says Sandals recently made a major investment in new resorts and expanding various properties. This includes resorts in Barbados, the Bahamas, the Turks and Caicos Islands, and Jamaica. While assuring staffers that their well-being remains a priority, Mr. Jones noted that arising from the pending closure, Sandals has already reaccommodated approximately 300 team members across their resorts in Turks and Caicos and Jamaica.
World in a Minute is brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
The World in a Minute.
The Trinidad and Tobago Police say it's investigating potential threats aimed at disrupting the April 28 general election. This was revealed by Acting Commissioner of Police Junior Benjamin during a media briefing on Wednesday. He confirmed that the authorities had received certain intelligence suggesting a possible disruption was being planned. Benjamin declined to disclose further details, but said a zero-tolerance approach would be taken in addressing the threat. Claiming that Trinidad and Tobago is known for holding fair and violence-free elections, Benjamin expressed hope that this would continue with the upcoming election. He noted that the necessary manpower resources had already been deployed in the lead-up. Benjamin assured the public that officers were being retrained on how to de-escalate confrontations. The police will be deployed to man over 3,000 polling stations on Monday.
China has denied any suggestion that it was in active negotiations with the administration of U.S. President Donald Trump over tariffs. On Thursday, China said any notion of progress in the matter was as groundless as trying to catch the wind. Trump had put 154% tariffs on imports from China. However, in retaliation, China responded with 125% tariffs on U.S. products. China's comments come after Trump said Tuesday that things were going fine and that the final tariff rate on Chinese exports would decrease substantially. Beijing made it clear that talks should involve the cancellation of all tariffs it currently faces. The country's foreign ministry says it remains open to consultations which are conducted in a respectful and equal manner.
World in a Minute was brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
Recapping the top stories making nationwide news at this hour. The Chinese mechanics who have caused a stir at ferry in St. Catherine are working in the country legally.
Nationwide news sources say none of the 10 Chinese mechanics working at the company have a valid work permit.
The PSOJ president is confident the country can withstand any negative effects of the projected decline in global growth.
The finance ministry says no timeline for payment of increments by April was ever negotiated with the JCTU.
I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Roby Ann Williams.
And listeners, you can find the news on our website at nationwideradiojm.com and on the Nationwide app, available on the Google Play and the App Store. News next, the headlines at 6.
That hour was brought to you by the new KFC Saucy Wings. Hot and spicy wings tossed in
Answer's Mother's Day sale up to 70% off. Up to 70% off the best brands for mom. Answer's Gifts at Home, Tropical Plaza, and Answer's for Children, Tropical Plaza and Sovereign Center. Answer's Mother's Day sale till May 17, 2025.
New KFC Saucy Wings. Attention all wings lovers. KFC Saucy Wings with 2 new flavors. Saucy Wings. Mango habanero and buffalo. Hot, spicy. KFC we have Saucy Wings. Delicious, spicy, the best. So a new KFC Saucy Wings crunch the rest. Nobody does wings like KFC. New Saucy Wings is for me.
New KFC Saucy Wings. Delicious, hot, and spicy wings tossed in savory mango habanero or buffalo sauce. Wings that will crunch the rest. New KFC Saucy Wings. It's finger licking good.
Sports at 5 is brought to you by Total Tools. They almost always have it.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. Favorites and 8-time champions Calabar High School was in smashing form in the 4x100 meters championship of America's high school boys qualifiers on the opening day of the 129th Penn Relays at Franklin Field Stadium in Philadelphia. The Red Hills Road-based boys sped to 40.24 seconds to win their heat, and they'll go into Friday's final with the fastest time. 6 other Jamaican high schools are through to Friday's final, including Kingston College, who logged 40.70. Jamaica College's 41.04 seconds, defending champions Excelsior 41.08, Edwin Allen 41.35, William Knibb 41.38, and St. Elizabeth Technical 41.49 are also through to the final. The boys 4x800 meters championship of America's final on Friday will have new champions as Jamaica College failed to make it into the top 12. The final will have 3 Jamaican high schools in Edwin Allen, along with former champions Kingston College and Calabar. Edwin Allen finished third in their heat with 7 minutes 49.99 seconds. Kingston College won their heat in 7 minutes 50.06, while Calabar were fourth in their heat in 7 minutes 50.76. Jamaica College were 14th overall in 7 minutes 51.20, while Homewood Tech 7 minutes 56.64 also failed to make progress. Meanwhile, Despiro Ray of Kingston College won the shot put with a Penn Relays record throw 20 meters 87, capping a fine year in which he also won at boys and girls champs and at the Carifta Games last week. He led a Jamaican 1-2-3 finish with Monroe College's Devontae Edwards second with 19 meters 78 and Cornwall College's Marlando Farquharson third, 19 meters 67. It was the same order finish in the Class 1 final at boys and girls champs. St. Elizabeth Technical's Ricoy Hunter won the high school boys long jump with a leap of 7 meters 30. Calabar's Romaine Lewis finished the second, 7 meters 22. Petersfield Savine Lawrence, 5th, 7 meters 08, and Cornwall College's Kenomar Jones, 6th, 7 meters 06. Let's get back to that. The inaugural staging of the West Indies Breakout League T20 cricket tournament bowls off on Friday with 4 of the 6 teams in action. At 1 p.m. Jamaica time, the Guyana Rainforest Rangers will take on the Windward Islands Infernos, while at 6 p.m. the Trinidad and Tobago Legions will battle the Barbados Pelicans, all games in the tournament to be played at the Brian Lara Academy in Tobago. The Jamaica Titans, which is coached by former Jamaican West Indies spinner Nikita Miller, will bow into action on Saturday against the Leeward Islands Thunders. This new competition is designed to spotlight emerging talent from across the Caribbean. Players eligible to participate must be under 30 years old or, at the start of the tournament, have played fewer than 40 List A T20 matches and fewer than 10 international T20s. Each team is closely affiliated with a Caribbean Premier League CPL franchise, providing players with an opportunity to showcase their skills on a larger scale and progress their cricketing careers. Tyreek Bryan smashed an impressive double century as Grace Headley Cup champion St. Elizabeth Technical tightened their grip on the Issa Grace Paulding Cup playoff against the urban area champions Excelsior High School at Stets. Bryan, who was 67 not out overnight, added 172 in 3 sessions on today's second day as Stets were dismissed for 328 in response to Excelsior's 127 all-out. Nikolai McKenzie ended with 6 for 93 bowling for Excelsior. Batting a second time with a first innings deficit of 201, Excelsior were 16 without loss at sports time. Leaders Mount Pleasant Academy and the champions Cavalier are locked at 1 apiece in a rescheduled Ray and Nephew Jamaica Premier League game now on at the Edward Siaga Sports Complex. Dwayne Atkinson gave Cavalier the lead in minute number 11, but Odin Pennycook scored on minute 24 to restore parity. It's now 67 minutes gone in the game. That's where we leave you on sports at this time. We're going to be back, though, at 6:05 with much more.
Sports at 5 was brought to you by Total Tools. They almost always have it.
The future is here. Meet your new best friend, the Samsung Galaxy S25. Unlock your true potential with this powerful but sleek AI companion. The S25 has exciting features such as the enhanced AI and camera. Let's transform the future together. Ask about our trade-in, smart payment, and insurance protection plans. Get yours today at select digital stores, Crossroads, Tropical Plaza, Spanish Town, downtown, and also available at the SMS store, 12 Ruthven Road, Kingston 10. SMS Group is your gateway to technology.
New KFC Saucy Wings. Attention all wings lovers. KFC Saucy Wings with 2 new flavors. Mango habanero and buffalo. Spicy. KFC we have delicious. Spicy the best. So a new KFC Saucy Wings crunch the rest. Nobody does wings like KFC. New Saucy Wings is for me.
New KFC Saucy Wings. Delicious, hot, and spicy wings tossed in savory mango habanero or buffalo sauce. Wings that will crunch the rest. New KFC Saucy Wings. It's finger licking good.
Plug into the sun with Peak Energy Solutions. We are your affordable provider for everything solar. Grid tie or off-grid solar P systems, solar air conditioners, panels, lithium batteries, solar supplies, and installation. Visit us at Shop 1, 3 Mosquito Valley Road, Red Hills, St. Andrew. Call 876-279-8820 or 944-0668. Or email us at peakenergysolutionsja@gmail.com. Peak Energy for everything solar.
We are the best at what we do. At Hose Assembly and Supply Limited, we supply hose, fittings, and tools. We guarantee we can't be beaten when price and quality are combined. You brand us the Hose and Tool Boss because we deliver the most effective industrial solutions. Come in and experience the joy of shopping with Hose Assembly and Supply Limited. Call us 876-923-3936 or visit 173 Hagley Park Road, 2 Charlesworth Crescent, or Montego Bay Trade Center. Hose Assembly and Supply Limited. More than just hoses. Now open every Sunday.
New KFC Saucy Wings. Attention all wings lovers. KFC Saucy Wings with 2 new flavors. Mango habanero and buffalo. Spicy. KFC we have delicious. Spicy the best. So a new KFC Saucy Wings crunch the rest. Nobody does wings like KFC. New Saucy Wings is for me.
New KFC Saucy Wings. Delicious, hot, and spicy wings tossed in savory mango habanero or buffalo sauce. Wings that will crunch the rest. New KFC Saucy Wings. It's finger licking good.
Do you have a consumer-related issue? Want to learn more about matters concerning you as a consumer? Well, keep it locked to Nationwide 90 FM for the Consumer Hour with me, Nora Gay Banton. Weekdays from 9 to 10 a.m. For all your consumer-centric matters, stay tuned to the Consumer Hour on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
Cover Story is brought to you by
Multilink. Roll with control. Use Multilink. Safe, fast, and accepted in more locations.
Multi-link, access every time, everywhere I go. Multi-link, 24/7 access for me. It's just a win-win.
when we use multi-link. This card is Jamaican built, yeah. Fast and secure, you can use anywhere. Spend while supporting the economy.
Look for the multi-link logo on your card and benefit from Jamaica's largest debit payment network.
Multi-link, 24/7 access for me.
What would I do without my multi-link?
Good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us here on Nationwide at 5. It's time for the cover story. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Siobhan Campbell. Welcome back, Mr. Brooks.
Thank you, Siobhan. How are you?
I trust you're well rested.
I am. How are you?
I'm doing quite well myself.
Good. Listeners, on the cover story this afternoon, Nationwide News understands that the Chinese mechanics who work at the Wholehearted Car Services Company in Ferry Pen in St. Catherine are doing so illegally. Our sources are telling us that not one member of the team of 10 mechanics working at the company are in possession of a valid work permit.
Our sources say that up to news time, no application for work permits has been submitted on behalf of the men. Tana Thomas has that story.
Social media has been flooded with videos and comments by persons singing the praises of the team of Chinese auto mechanics at WH Car Services located along the growing industrial belt in Ferry Pen. Some users say the Chinese are a godsend, freeing them from having to deal with rapacious local mechanics who charge an arm and a leg for subpar services served up with bad attitudes. Motorists flood the WH facilities daily, literally. Several videos posted online show queues of motorists outside the main gate of the facility from as early as 3 a.m. Such is the demand for services that the management at the facility has had to restrict servicing to 30 cars per day. Despite this, scores of motorists descend on the location daily, hoping to be among the lucky 30.
This is the line to get into here at 3 a.m.
I want to sleep. We came in yesterday morning and we did not get through. There was like 50 plus cars here. I think we have a better chance. 5:45 and I'm on no sleep.
It's 5:44. I don't know where you get 5:45 from. I'm on 20% sleep.
20%?
Yes.
You sleep longer than all of me. You sleep longer than all of me.
Apparently, they're only taking 20 cars today. And Josh falls right in that pit. So hopefully Josh gets through.
If you don't hear from me, that's because we're running out of food. Because right now, a one piece of spice one we have and a 3-man.
But there's a slight problem, maybe a major one. None of the Chinese mechanics is permitted to be undertaking any kind of work in the island. The man who told both major newspapers that he's the manager of the facility, Ming Zhen Chen, says he has 10 mechanics working under his charge. Or sources say none of those mechanics holds a work permit. Where Chen is concerned, or sources say he does indeed have authorization to work in the island. However, it's understood that his permit is for work at a wholesale establishment in Mandeville, Manchester. Or sources say following the excessive media coverage which the garage has attracted, Labour Minister officials and other state agents visited the facility to inquire about the status of the Chinese workers. It's understood they were told by Chen that the workers had paid a man who claimed he could process the work permits for them. The workers could only give the authorities a first name for the man, along with an 876 phone number. Or sources say state agents have been calling the phone number for days without success. Nationwide News has reached out to Labour Minister Pernell Charles Jr. for a comment. Minister Charles's office says he will address the issue during Nationwide's cover story this afternoon at 5:30 p.m. Tana Thomas for Nationwide News.
Thank you, Tana. Well, the minister has kept his promise. He joins us now. Pernell Charles Jr. is the Minister of Labour and Social Security. Good afternoon, Minister.
Good afternoon, gentlemen, and to all of your listeners.
Thank you so much for joining us. So your people from the Labour Ministry have visited the location. What have they reported to you?
So we had two teams visiting in recent times, our work permit unit investigators and also our team from the OSH department that focuses on occupational safety and health. In terms of the OSH team, they were able to, in their findings, at least they report to me, to indicate that they haven't found any egregious breaches. However, they did have conversations with persons who they saw there. One person who identified himself as a manager who appeared to be cooperative, and they have discussed taking the necessary steps to ensure that any member of the public who attends on that facility is protected, and that steps are taken to remedy any of the breaches that they did find. And so they're continuing their discussions with them in terms of any safety concerns. More importantly, as it relates to the work permit issues, we have been able to, at least at the preliminary stage, conclude that there is one person who was identified whose name is attached to a work permit relating to a haberdashery, and possibly another person who is connected to the same haberdashery with a work permit. But the investigations relating to other personnel are ongoing. We are in the middle of an active investigation, and so I can't speak to the specific status of those individuals, but what I can assure you is that it is a cross-cutting investigation, and we are examining all aspects, including documentation, legal status, everything that is required to ensure compliance with the law. And once those investigations are at the appropriate stage, the findings will be communicated to the public.
But if I could just ask a follow-up, Siobhan. So you found possess work permits, and those permits relate to a haberdashery.
What I can confirm is that
so far
among the persons that appear to be connected to this investigation, there are two names that are related to two active, valid work permits, but those work permits are connected to a haberdashery.
Understood.
And I say two names because a part of the investigation will include confirming that the names that we have received are actually the persons to whom they are connected.
Right.
Which is why I say to you that it is difficult from a technical perspective to indicate to the public conclusively, because a part of the investigation requires us to confirm identity.
Mm-hmm.
So we know the names and we know what those names are connected to, but we are continuing the investigation to ensure that everyone who says they are actually is who they say they are.
But as those investigations continue, Minister, what does that mean for the operation of that particular business?
Well, that's why we were very careful to have our OSH team, which is the team of competent investigators who go in to make sure that through their observations that the public is safe. But as I said to you, it's a cross-cutting investigation that includes other agencies, and everything that we are observing and our assessments will be passed on to the relevant authority and other agencies for them to take action as necessary.
No, but more to the point, the question is, will the auto shop be allowed to continue operation while you investigate whether these people are validly working in the country?
Well, the team that investigated today, or that interacted with them today, did provide them with certain instructions. Among those instructions I know would be that until we can conclude positively, or until all of the or whatever breaches, if any, that are identified are rectified, that they should not be operating. And that's, again, why we have to be very careful in our utterances, because we have to make sure that whatever is being done, whatever activity, is in compliance with the law. At the same time, we recognize that they have been operating, that there are many Jamaicans that have been, seeking and receiving service from them. And we don't want persons to get the impression that we're trying to stifle or create barriers to commerce. That is not our intention. That is not our responsibility. Our responsibility is to make sure that while we facilitate commerce, it must be done in compliance with the law to protect those members of the public who are seeking to take advantage of those services.
So just to be clear, you've temporarily, at least temporarily, told them to cease operation until you can verify all the credentials.
Yeah, the officers from our work permit unit would have provided them with a clear guideline of what is necessary and indicated to them that if they do not have the relevant work permit to operate this specific type of business, they are to shut down their operation until otherwise.
And how long do you expect it will take you to confirm whether they are in fact legitimate mechanics?
Well, we're moving speedily ahead. We have most of what we need, but there is, as I said, other elements to this investigation that include partner agencies, and I believe that we will. I don't want to give a specific timeline, but I believe that in short order, you will see the necessary action taken one way or the other to make sure that one, Jamaicans are protected, two, that migrants are also protected, and that to our best effort, the law is complied with.
Who are the partner agencies?
The matters of this nature usually include issues relating to work permits, passport issues. It can include criminal investigation as well. And so all of the authorities that are relevant to those types of matters are seen as partners in this. We are in touch with them. We are working with them. And I don't want to get into too much detail because there is I'd say a comprehensive effort to make sure that we are going to be able to verify and to ensure that the information we have received is accurate before we take any further step.
I have some further questions on that, Minister, but we are up on a break, so we'll take those after this.
The Temperature brought to you by Bird Shack Fried Chicken.
Burrata! Buy a 3-piece hat-trick meal and get an extra piece free for a limited time only is...
It's 28 degrees Celsius here in the capital city, Kingston, and it's also 28 out west in Montego Bay.
Don't fall victim to deepfakes.
Watch out.
Protect yourself.
Oh, what is the
For more
on TV?
information, visit broadcastingcommission.org or
Here,
scan
baby.
the QR code on screen.
Deepfake. No deepfake can't catch me.
Junior, you know say AI can make something will look and sound just like you? One day Junior get a voice note from her granny. Say the food done, the medication done, and she need money urgently.
Need money urgently? But Miss Pat no like ask people for things.
And as so comes, Judy get suspicious.
So what she do?
She asks the neighbor to go check pan her. Junior, the lady quite alright over there make her Sunday dinner.
So the voice note a deep fake?
Yes, my love. Come, your food ready.
Right, now it look like we have to outsmart the AI. But wait, I really want dege dumpling here, give me.
Me I wonder if AI can make one deep fake dumpling for you.
To learn more about deepfakes, visit www.broadcastingcommission.org.
You ever get bun yet? The bun was sweet so much you can't resist. Me not talk about heartbreak. Me not talk about the bun with full of spice, raisin, and the perfect glaze. Mother's Bakery Easter bun. This is the bun where everybody need this Easter. If you don't get bun, you not live life right. Mother's Bakery Easter bun. Get the best type of bun from the right people. Mother's Bakery Easter bun. The bun you have to get with love in every bite. Available in select supermarkets.
Taxi drivers, are you ready to earn more? Join Amber on Time and keep 100% of your fares in the first month. No commission, no catch. Plus, in your second month, we'll install a free vehicle tracker to help keep you and your car safe. Stolen vehicle recovery and panic button response are also on us. And guess what? On May 3rd and 4th, come to 13 Haining Road. Snacks and drinks are on us. Come link up, ask questions, sign up on the spot, and level up with Amber On Time, Jamaica's taxi app built just for you.
Welcome back, listeners and viewers, to The Cover Story. We are talking work permits with the Minister of Labour and Social Security, Pernell Charles Jr. Minister, at the top of the hour, you said that there was only 2 individuals you were able to verify had the identity attached to a work permit. What of the remaining 8 mechanics at the auto repair shop?
I didn't say individuals, I said names. So,
names.
It's very clear. One of the most important aspects of this investigation is the verification of identity. Anyone can tell you that they are anyone. And so a big part of the process is to ensure that we are connecting names to identity in the right way, which is why I say very carefully that we can confirm that 2 names that we have been given are connected appropriately to work permits relating to a haberdashery,
right,
which is in our...
Yes, Minister.
So
what we can,
right. We understood that, Minister. What I wanted to know: do work permits carry pictures with them? So, when you issue these permits, is there a requirement that a picture be displayed of the individual who the permit is attached to?
Yes, there is.
So these 2 individuals, there were no pictures available?
What do you mean? If there's no pictures available?
In other words, you say you're still trying to confirm their identity. So having received their names, is there no picture attached to the name that you could look and say, okay, this individual is actually Mr. X or Mr. Y?
Every work permit application carries with it a picture.
Mm-hmm.
As to whether the picture on the work permit application has been confirmed, that I cannot speak to as yet.
Okay.
Because we are currently trying to confirm the identities, which is not just going to be confirmed by the picture, but will also require identification otherwise to confirm the picture.
But that still stands, Minister. What about the remaining 8 individuals operating at that shop? Do they have work permits? And if not, what would be their status in terms of their continued service at that institution?
All right, so our goal is to continue the interviews, to coordinate with the other agencies and partners where necessary, and to make sure that through due process, we will be able to confirm exactly what you said a while ago. That is exactly what the investigation requires, and what we're trying to conclude right now. The report will be finalized very soon. I do not, and I don't intend to speak before that report has been finalized, because once it is finalized, we are going to take the necessary actions in accordance with the law.
Minister Charles,
it's not in the best interest of the ministry for me to preempt that.
Yeah, Minister Charles Jr., how often do you encounter a situation where a Chinese national may apply for a work permit, let's say to work in a haberdashery, and you find them engaged in work outside of what they applied to do?
I wouldn't say that it's very common. I don't think that I have, since becoming minister, seen several of those occasions at my desk. But I can only speak to those matters that are before me formally.
And the work permit situation. So when a let's say a large establishment such as a garage or an auto shop applies, before issuing the permit, is there any assessment done of the actual needs of the establishment?
Yes. So a part of the process, particularly for new work permits, requires us to ensure that there's a need. And many times it actually will trigger a preliminary investigation just to confirm that the business or the registered, usually it is a registered business, that business actually is going to operate, and that they have secured the space to operate, and that they're taking the necessary steps to operate.
And Minister, the matter of work permits and the issuance of work permits, as Mr. Brooks requested, it's based on need. Does that not include, is there a need to have the work permits issued when such a capacity already exists on the island, for example, mechanics?
Is there a need to have a work permit issued when the capacity exists?
Yes. Do you normally give foreign national work permits when we have the capacity to fulfill that need here locally?
Oh, meaning if we offer work permits where there are persons in the country who can do the work?
Exactly.
Well, sometimes. So it depends, because many times you have persons who can do the work, but they don't want to do the work, or they're not willing to do the work. So simply having Jamaicans who can do the work doesn't mean that we don't consider a work permit. We have a system through our LMIS and ELE, which is the Labor Market Information System and the Electronic Labor Exchange, that we rely on to guide us as to the amount of available persons for different categories of work. We have our inspectors and investigators who actually go out, so they get their own anecdotal feel of what's taking place in the labor force. We look on also the labor force survey. We have a committee of experts as well who assist in ensuring that that if there is an application for a particular type of job, and they believe that the job is one that might have Jamaicans readily available, that the necessary advertisements are done to try to seek persons to fill those vacancies. Many times you have remedial positions where persons might put out advertisements and the advertisements are not responded to. And in that case, once justification is given, the work permits are not barred. We don't bar persons from coming in just because we think Jamaicans are available. We have to show and establish through data or through some other process that they're not just available, but that they're ready and willing to take up the positions.
What is the consequence of working in Jamaica for a foreign national without a permit? So if you find that the individuals working at this establishment are not lawfully doing so, what are the consequences?
So under Section 3 of the Foreign Nationals and Commonwealth Citizens Employment Act, a foreign national who engages in occupation in Jamaica is going to be seen to contravene the provision of the Act, can be liable to conviction in the lower court or fine not exceeding $500,000 or actually to imprisonment not exceeding 6 months, or to both fine and imprisonment. And that goes for the foreign national as well as for any person who has in their employment a foreign national who contravenes the Act.
And so the ministry would not be prepared to facilitate a process. Let's say you find out that they're not lawfully operating, that they would retroactively be granted work permits. Would your ministry be prepared to facilitate such a process?
I don't know about retroactively being granted, but we do have, through the Act, the minister does have a discretion that allows for us to put into context circumstances. And it would really depend on the findings of an investigation, the basis, the reasonings, for us to look on all of the various perspectives to see how we would approach it in terms of advancing a prosecution or on, a balance of probabilities, looking on another approach of perhaps facilitating the person to be regularized. So that's something that really depends on circumstances. But yes, the legislation does facilitate that route as well.
And I'm wondering if a minister would be minded to deny that request if such a request should come for such a popular establishment.
Sounds like you have a vehicle that you want to get fixed. You want to talk to
No, Minister, Jamaicans are flocking to the location. So I'm wondering how you would deal with a situation like that.
Let me tell you straight. it's something which we actually laugh about when we're discussing the investigation, because the reality is, we're not here to block commerce. We're not here to turn back what could be a service that is assisting or that is providing some benefit to the country. But whatever is being done, it has to be done in compliance with the law, because there's so many consequences that can flow negatively if we don't ensure adherence. So once we complete the investigation, it is our intention not to have a knee-jerk reaction, but to look on all of the facts before us and to come to a determination with our partner agencies on what will be best for the Jamaican people and what will serve the purposes of respecting our law and advancing the development of our country.
And just one quickly, we're almost out of time, Minister. Outside of the labor concerns, the operation of this entity is legitimate, as in it meets all standards under the law.
Well, I can only tell you that so far it appears from our investigations that the company is appropriately registered. So far, it appears from our investigations that there is no egregious breach in terms of the safety aspect. There is a matter that came up in terms of fire extinguishing equipment, but otherwise there's no egregious breach that was found. And it appears so far that at least 2 of the persons have gone through some process to apply for a work permit and received it, but that work permit is not relating to the type of function of this specific activity at the mechanic shop.
Minister of Labour and Social Security, Pernell Charles Jr. Thank you for joining us, Minister.
All the best.
The headlines are next.
Cover Story was brought to you by
Multilink. Roll with control. Use Multilink. Safe, fast, and accepted in more locations.
That hour was brought to you by the new KFC Saucy Wings. Hot and spicy wings tossed in mango habanero or buffalo sauce. Wings that will crunch the rest. New KFC Saucy Wings. It's finger licking good.
The time brought to you by Guardian Life. Live secure, live easy is...
6:05.
Nationwide headlines at 6.
Good evening with the headlines at 6. I'm Mahiri Stewart. Nationwide News understands that the Chinese mechanics who work at the Wholehearted Car Services Company in Ferry Pen, St. Catherine are doing so illegally. Our sources say not one member of the team of 10 mechanics working at the company are in possession of a valid work permit. Social media has been flooded with videos and comments by persons singing the praises of the team. Several videos posted online show queues of motorists outside the main gate of the facility from as early as 3 a.m.
This is the line to get in there at 3 a.m.
I wanted to sleep. We came in yesterday morning and we did not get through. There was like 50 plus cars here. I think we have a better chance. 5:45 and I'm on no sleep.
It's 5:44. I don't know where Gary get 5:45 from. I'm on 20% sleep.
20%?
Yes.
Bro, you sleep longer than all of us. You sleep longer than all of us.
Apparently, they're only taking 20 cars today. And Josh falls right in that figure. So hopefully Josh gets through.
If you don't hear from me, that's because we're running out of food. Because right now, a 1 piece of spice one we have, and a 3 man.
Our sources say following the excessive media coverage which the garage has attracted, Labour Ministry officials and other state agents visited the facility to inquire about the status of the Chinese workers. President of the Private Sector Organization of Jamaica, PSOJ, Metri Siaga, is confident that Jamaica can withstand any negative effects of the projected drop in global growth. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, in its World Economic Outlook, projects global growth to drop to 2.8% in 2025 and 3% in 2026. For Latin America and the Caribbean, growth has been revised down to 2% in 2025 and 2.4% in 2026. Mr. Siaga says while he's concerned about the numbers, he has no worries about Jamaica's resilience.
Yes, that is a concerning number, but it's international, and what we have to do is to make sure that as a country we remain resilient. The hard work that the government and the previous government have done really puts us in a good space to be resilient. Our economy, our macro economy, it's in a very stable position, and I feel we're resilient. We have proven that against the many of the issues that we have had, hurricanes and COVID and things of that nature. And we have come out the other end looking and smelling like a rose. So I am confident that we have done the hard work to allow us to be resilient.
Mr. Siaga's comments follow a meeting between leaders of the private sector, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness and Foreign Affairs Minister Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith at the PSOJ's headquarters in Kingston. Mr. Siaga says the business leaders were encouraged by the discussions.
We discussed trade negotiations that have been going on internationally, the tariffs that have been put on us as a country, how the government has been handling it, what the government's plans are moving forward. And we discussed a raft of other things that are important issues in the country. So we were very happy with the way the Prime Minister and the Minister explained how they have been handling it, and we are pleased with the outcomes that we have seen so far and continue to pledge our support for the government to continue doing what it's doing in that regard.
Metri Siaga, president of the PSOJ. The Ministry of Finance says no timeline for payments of increments by April was ever negotiated with the Jamaica Confederation of Trade Unions, JCTU. The ministry is responding to alleged discontent among public sector teachers that the agreed increment payments would be pushed beyond the April pay cycle. However, the Finance Ministry, in a swift response, says the agreed timeline was the first quarter of the financial year. The first quarter of the current financial year, which began in April, will end in June. Members of the Constitutional Reform Committee, Dr. Nadine Spence, is disputing suggestions that proposed amendments to the country's constitution would remove the opposition's veto in the Senate. Opposition leader Mark Golding has suggested that the proposed Constitution Amendment Bill would bring Jamaica closer to autocracy by changing the composition of the upper house to include 3 independent senators. However, Dr. Spence says this is not the case.
The numbers of senators on both the opposition and the government side was changed and a suggestion for there to be inclusion of independent senators. But that requirement of the plus the additional vote that must come from the opposition was not changed. So the numbers were changed, but that responsibility that the opposition has to be a check on the legislative process, that wasn't changed at all. So there is still the requirement for at least one person from the opposition to vote with the government for any bills to be passed.
Dr. Nadine Spence, member of the Constitutional Reform Committee. The St. Andrew North Police have charged the reputed gang leader found in possession of weapons on Monday. He's 33-year-old Orlando Grant, otherwise called Duffus, or Glasses Man. Grant is charged with possession of a prohibited weapon and unauthorized possession of ammunition. He was arrested in the Mannings Hill district. He reportedly had a Glock 19 pistol with 2 magazines and 50 rounds of ammunition on his person at the time. Commanding officer for the St. Andrew North, that is, Deputy Superintendent Randy Sweeney, says the arrest is a win for crime management.
The arrest of Grant is significant for the St. Andrew North Division and by extension the JCF because he is a person of interest in several crimes that were committed, not only in the St. Andrew North Division as I stated before, but also other divisions to include the St. Andrew Central. Now the apprehension of this man is significant because we are of the view that it can have meaningful impact on crime and violence, especially in the Grand Spend area of the St. Andrew North Division.
Deputy Superintendent Randy Sweeney, commanding officer for St. Andrew North. Those were the headlines at 6. I'm Mahiri Stewart. Sports is next.
Revamp your space with Unique Living sleek fixed and sliding shower panels, shower systems and faucets, stylish vanities, LED and non-LED mirrors, basins and kitchen sinks, closet and storage solutions, hanging aids, and more. Available in different finishes and sizes to match your style. Transform your space and visit us today at shop number 6, 30 Dunrobin Avenue, Kingston 10. Call us at 876-755-3661 or visit our website at uniquelivingja.com to shop.
New KFC Saucy Wings. Attention all wings lovers. KFC Saucy Wings with 2 new flavors. Saucy Wings. Mango habanero and buffalo. Spicy. KFC we have Saucy Wings. Delicious. Spicy the best. So a new KFC Saucy Wings crunch the rest. Nobody does wings like KFC. New Saucy Wings is for me.
New KFC Saucy Wings. Delicious, hot, and spicy wings tossed in savory mango habanero or buffalo sauce. Wings that will crunch the rest. New KFC Saucy Wings. It's finger licking good.
Good evening with your sports report. I am Alric Swaby. We start with track and field as favourites and 8-time champions Calabar High School was in smashing form in the 4x100 meters Championship of America High School Boys qualifiers on the opening day of the 129 pen relays at Frank Field in Philadelphia. The Red Hills Road-based boys sped to 40.24 seconds to win their heat and will go into Friday's final with the fastest time. Wayne Walker tells us more.
6 other Jamaican high schools are through to Friday's final, including Kingston College, who logged 40.70. Jamaica College's 41.04 seconds, defending champions Excelsior 41.08, Edwin Allen 41.35, William Knibb 41.38, and St. Elizabeth Technical 41.49 are also through to the final. The boys 4x800 meters championship of America's final on Friday will have new champions as Jamaica College failed to make it into the top 12. The final will have 3 Jamaican high schools in Edwin Allen, along with former champions Kingston College and Calabar. Edwin Allen finished third in their heat with 7 minutes 49.99 seconds. Kingston College won their heat in 7 minutes 50.06, while Calabar were fourth in their heat in 7 minutes 50.76. Jamaica College were 14th overall in 7 minutes 51.20, while Homewood Tech 7 minutes 56.64 also failed to make progress. Meanwhile, Despiro Ray of Kingston College won the shot put with a pen relays record throw 20 meters 87, capping a fine year in which he also won at boys and girls champs and at the Carifta Games last week. He led a Jamaican 1-2-3 finish with Monroe College's Devontae Edwards second with 19 meters 78 and Cornwall College's Marlando Farquharson third, 19 meters 67. It was the same order of finish in the Class 1 final at boys and girls champs. St. Elizabeth Technical's Ricoy Hunter won the high school boys long jump with a leap of 7 meters 30. Calabar's Romaine Lewis finished the second, 7 meters 22. Petersfield Savine Lawrence, 5th, 7 meters 08, and Cornwall College's Kenomar Jones, 6th, 7 meters 06.
Thank you, Wayne. Now, Shelley and Fraser Price, Sherika Jackson, and Kishane Thompson have been named in the Jamaica's 31-strong contingent for the 7th World Relays in China from May 10 to 11. Fraser Price and Jackson will be key members of the women's 4x100 meters relay squad, which is completed by Nisha Berger, Tina and Tia Clayton, Serena Cole, Natasha Morrison, Alana Reid, and Crystal Slowly. Thompson, who won 100 silver at the Paris Olympic Games last year, is joined on the men's 4x100 meter squad by Johan Blake, Akeem Blake, Rashid Foster, Brian Lavelle, Julian Fort, Javari Thomas, and Rohan Watson. The women's mile relay squad is made up of Kellyanne Beckford, Onisha McGregor, Cheyenne Salmon, Rhonda White, Jodine Williams, and Stacey Ann Williams, while national 400 meters record holder Rasheen McDonald leads the men's mile relay contingent with Javier Brown, Zandrian Barnes, Damar Francis, Malik James King, Therese Roden, and Delano Kennedy. Mark Elliott is technical leader, while Paul Francis, Sean Michael Samuel, and Michael Frater are the coaches. Now to cricket, as the inaugural staging of the West Indies Breakout League T20 cricket tournament bowls off on Friday with 4 of the 6 teams in action. At 1 p.m. Jamaica time, the Guyana Rainforest Rangers go up against the Windward Islands Infernos, while at 6 p.m. Trinidad and Tobago Legions play against the Barbados Pelicans, all games in the tournament to be played at the Brian Lara Academy in Tobago. The Jamaica Titans, which is coached by former Jamaica and West Indies spinner Nikita Miller, will bow into action on Saturday against the Leeward Islands Thunders. This new competition is designed to spotlight emerging talent from across the Caribbean. Players eligible to participate must be under 30 years old or at least at the start of the tournament have played fewer than 40 List A T20 matches and fewer than 10 international T20s. Each team is closely affiliated with a Caribbean Premier League franchise, providing players with an opportunity to showcase their skills on a larger stage and progress their cricketing careers. Tariq Bryan smashed an impressive double century as Grace Headley Cup champion St. Elizabeth Technical tightened their grip on the Issa Grace Spalding Cup playoff against Urban Era champions Excelsior High at Steds. Bryan, who was 67 not out overnight, added 172 in 3 sessions on today's second day as Steds were dismissed for 328 in response to Excelsior's 127 all out. Nikolai McKenzie ended with a 6 for 93 bowling for Excelsior. But in a second time, with a first innings deficit of 201, Excelsior reached 16 without loss, at close still 185 runs behind. David Dwyer 8 and Giovanni Gray 4 of the not-out batsmen. CEO of Cricket West Indies Chris Deering has extended heartfelt congratulations to Barbados following their impressive unbeaten run to retain the CWI Rising Stars Under 15 title in Antigua on Wednesday. Barbados secured back-to-back titles with a 49-run win over Guyana in the top-of-the-table clash at the Coolidge Cricket Ground. After posting 209 for 8 in their allotted 50 overs, Barbados bowled out Guyana for 160. There were also standout individual performances. Barbados captain Justin Paris was named best all-rounder after scoring 121 runs and claiming 13 wickets. With his leg spin, his teammate top-order batter Killarney Clark finished as the tournament's leading run scorer with 216 runs. Riaz Latif of Guyana took 15 wickets to earn the award for most wickets. Richard Romdehull, also of Guyana, and Jaquan Athanase of the Leeward Islands shared the award for most catches with 5 each. Jamaica's Luane Price was named best wicketkeeper after recording 11 dismissals. Deering also praised the overall standard of play during the competition. Now to football, as champions Cavalier beat Mount Pleasant 2-1 in their rescheduled Ray and Never Jamaica Premier League match at the Edward Seaga Complex a short while ago. Dwayne Atkinson gave Cavalier the lead in the 11th minute, but Dean Pennycook scored in the 24th minute to restore parity. However, Cavalier found the winner 6 minutes in the time added on. And to basketball, as Tivoli Wizards and Urban Knights are currently meeting in the first game of a doubleheader in the National Basketball League at the Stadium Court. Meanwhile, Spanish Town Titans and St. George's Slayers will do battle in the second match. And finally, on a recent official and historic visit to Jamaica, President of the International Paralympic Committee, Andrew Parsons, in endorsing the work of the Jamaica Paralympic Association, declared that Jamaica will be the hub of Caribbean parasport development. The global president's statement is part of the reality of historic grassroots 5-year project, which will be implemented in Jamaica with a proposal to establish a Paralympic Academy as one of the outcomes. Work will start in earnest when a delegation from the Latin American and Caribbean Development Bank and America's Paralympic Committee arrives in the island next month. A policy framework for the movement is a deliverable of the project as well as an infrastructural development plan which the JPA supports. Financing teams, athletes and coaches in their endeavors at games and tournaments and equipping them with tools of their trade are very essential elements of sports development. But building out an infrastructure where education and elite physical training are married to modern facilities and are headquartered in the same space is the generic root of sports development. I'm Alric Swiby, and that's your sports.
For all your scales and food processing equipment, call Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited at 876-968-9612-5. The time by Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited is
6:19.
Be part of something meaningful. The third annual Stories to Create charity golf tournament tees off July 19 at the Constant Spring Golf Course, and we're inviting title sponsors and presenting sponsors to help us drive impact. This high-energy event supports EHAS Inc. and its mission to empower youth through storytelling, mentorship, and education. With media coverage, brand visibility, and community goodwill, this is more than just sponsorship. It's partnership with purpose. Secure your sponsorship today. Contact EHAS Inc. at 876-836-3014 and let's create a story worth telling.
A Campari Boulevard, Carnival Road, Mad Sunday. Time for left here, make sure no reach Campari Boulevard. No live performance, stage crossing. Come out with your crew, Campari flossing.
Join us at Campari Boulevard as we take over Emmanuel Road on Trafalgar Road like never before on April 27th, Carnival Sunday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Enjoy Campari drink specials all day. Watch revelers cross our epic Campari stage with Exodus and Yardmass. Admission free, and make sure you wear red. It's Campari Red Passion Carnival. Embrace the mix. Must be 18 years old. Let's drink responsibly.
Tune in to CliffViews Online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. as we broadcast live from Beats and Brand Live at the Emancipation Park on Friday, April 25. Beats and Brands Live is the ultimate celebration of music, creativity, and innovation. This exciting event is part of Intellectual Property Week and brings together the vibrant worlds of business and entertainment under the theme IP and Music, Feel the Beat. Expect a mini expo, live concert, giveaways, and the official opening ceremony, all for free. Vibe with artists, entrepreneurs, and industry insiders powered by Jaipo in partnership with Jaria and other creative powerhouses. Don't miss this fusion of culture, creativity, and commerce. It's where beats meet brands. So tune in to CliffViews Online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's the Beats and Brand Live at the Emancipation Park on Friday, April 25. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the Jamaica Intellectual Property Office.
I'm Dennis Brooks.
I'm Alan Campbell.
I'm Floyd Green.
And I'm Garth Williams. Catch us on the Jamaican Dads podcast right here on Nationwide 90 FM, Thursdays at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m.
The Jamaican Dads podcast is all about providing men with a healthy, safe, and functional forum to tackle many of the taboo topics that concern our masculinity.
Like everyone else out there, we're dads of varying amounts of experience who come from different backgrounds and often view the world differently.
We're definitely not perfect, but we're all brethren and we're all committed to this piece of rock called Jamaica.
Too often, there are no safe spaces for men to explore the issues which are important to us.
Plus, most of the content out there about parenthood is produced by women, for women. So we think it is important that we be the change we want to see.
Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Jamaican Dads with a Z.
And definitely join us here on Nationwide 90 FM every Thursday at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m. for the Jamaican Dads podcast. It's a revolution in media.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Good evening, and welcome to Public Opinion. I'm Robianne Williams. A special one to our friends over there on our YouTube platform. Thank you so much for tuning in. I especially want to hear your comments on this public opinion this evening. So listen out, listen up. Let's get to it. Social media has been flooded with videos and comments by persons singing the praises of the team of Chinese auto mechanics at WH Car Services located along the Ferry Pen Road. Yeah? Some users say the Chinese are a godsend. Thank God for them, freeing them from having to deal with our local mechanics who charge them an arm and a leg for subpar services served up with bad attitude. Yeah? So we've seen the videos of several, we talk about a line of vehicle, line off, a wait to be serviced at the facility. Some people go there as early as 3 a.m. we're being told. Yeah? Such is the demand for these services that the management at the facility has had to restrict servicing to 30 cars per day. Look at that, like 30 cars. Them say too much, they're coming too much, so we have to do 30 cars per day. Now, despite this, scores of motorists descend on the location daily, hoping to be among the lucky 30. Yeah? But what a hullabaloo we heard earlier today that only 2 of the 10 workers are permitted, have a work permit to be working in Jamaica. But in public opinion this evening, we're turning the spotlight on our local mechanics. And the question we're asking, what has been your experience with Jamaican mechanics? Again, what has been your experience with Jamaican mechanics? YouTubers, I'll come at you after I read what's on Facebook and Instagram, give you some little time to let me know your experience with our Jamaican mechanics. On our Facebook platform, Audley Phillip is saying expensive and unreliable. That has created an opening for the Chinese who are about to capitalize on it. Maury McCarthy is saying bad, crooked. Dino is saying to us, didn't really have bad experience with mechanics, maybe because I tell them the issue I have, and if them see anything else, them can let me know, and I assess whether I want to change it now or in a few months. Shins for Life Law is saying unreasonable, unreliable, unprofessional. Even if you bring a brand new vehicle to them with no mechanical issues, they will definitely find one that does not exist just to rip you off. For Cheryl Griffiths, Cheryl saying to us that she had to sell her little Jimmy. And I believe she's talking about her vehicle. Yes, she's saying she had to sell her little Jimmy because of them. Them rob me left, right, and center, says Cheryl. All right, Hepburn is saying unreliable, dishonest, and a seta bandulu. That not safe. Salome Paul is saying my vehicles are always in good condition, so I rarely have any need to go to the mechanics, except for regular servicing. However, I know persons who have had bad experiences with them, from diagnosing the problem incorrectly to charging an arm and a leg. Philip Jackson saying to us, one size don't fit all. We have some honest mechanics, true, and we have some thieving ones. I remember one telling me that my engine dropped asleep and had to be pulled down when that was not the case. Could you imagine your engine drop asleep? Wake it up then, no? Brian Stevenson is saying, terrible. To fix an engine leak, they made me pay twice and I still had the leak. I went to the authorized car dealer in Jamaica and the job was done. Pricey, but the problem was solved. The local mechanics are unreliable. There are a few good ones though. Yep. Big up to all of the mechanics them who know say who wanna rip off. Michelle Bernard is saying very reliable. There are good ones and few shufflers. Daphne McCreath never had any, but what the drivers are saying, it don't look good at all. It look really, really bad. Janine Keating saying to us, all some name brand one, me not call the name. I'm very happy with the Chinese. It's going to give you guys a run for on money, which is right. I better them do better now. Oh, you're saying I better, you are thinking that they're going to do better now based on what's happening. Let us see. Tammy said them rob you blind, even for minor things. O'Neill Dennis, a lot of Jamaican mechanics, when you take your vehicle with new parts, you are not there, they will switch your parts for used parts so that every minute you have to be coming back to them. Wow. All right. Let's see if I can get in some on our YouTube platform. I see them coming. Master Jam says, one word, painful. Yeah? Painful experience. Captain J is saying the worst. Aishan Khan, my daughter spent 400K on her car and then had to dump it. Which the Chinese... Oh, you're saying you wish that the Chinese were here 2 years ago. Wow. Sharon Kong said, I feel bad for the Chinese men. Yeah? Kirk Buchanan saying, wow, come on, local mechanics, what are you guys doing? Yeah, man, these reviews are terrible. These reviews are terrible. Dre Views saying, some local mechanics are rip-off, get rich very quickly out of the business. Marcus the Best, let's hear you. The Jamaican mechanics are being held to account. It's all about accountability. All right. Leonard Seville. Oh, Jimny. Willow Will says Jimny. All right. Okay. Leonard Seville is saying, my experience was the mechanic charged me for the parts he didn't put in my car and trying to justify him actions. What can go so? Custis Brown, he's saying, some of them mechanics are real crook. Yeah? Amelia, I've never been to a Jamaican mechanic who's professional and ethical. That not safe. That's terrible. Wow. Kingsley, McLean, no accountability. My own kill my car. It parked from 2020, says Hempstar TV. You can imagine, you have a car park up in a yard and although you carry it, come nothing na 7 or 11. All right, let me see if I can get in a few more. 3-card mechanic demia, says Dory. Anthony Williams said, thief. May Jesus, that no safe. Fitzroy is saying the Jamaican mechanic give shorthand work, one cross thread my front end and give it to me. Luckily, it never leave me a road. And it is so critical that these things, your vehicle that you're driving is up to standard and up to par. Because drive, and unfortunately, one thing can go, one mishap can happen, and the worst happen. And I'm not going to say what the worst is. You can read between the lines. I'm saying the worst can happen on the road. So it's important for you to service the vehicle properly. So if you carry it to a mechanic and it come back to you a certain type of way, all kind of things can happen. The worst of the worst. And it's just so sad that these comments are what we're reading, what we're getting. The reviews from the people themselves. And we say so, uno say so. Yeah? My mechanic... Willow will say, my mechanic and my 2 feet them. Okay. Clash Camp is saying, imagine leaving your vehicle at mechanic shop in Kingston only to hear that your vehicle was in an accident in Montego Bay. Again, there is that. You have people that drive out your vehicle when you carry go a mechanic. It's like a test drive. Or maybe them a rent, like them feel like a rent, you rent it to them. When you carry it, and left it in a them care, you rent it to them. Shelley Clark saying, very dishonest and crooked. To Wayne Baldwin, Jamaican unfair. Wow. All right. Fitzroy say, I heard about the Chinese mechanics say them thing up. The reviews have been good, you know. Iona Davis is saying, shame on the dishonest mechanics. Wow. Yeah. You can imagine. You carry your vehicle go a one mechanic and when your ear pan is short, according to my grandmother. When your ear pan is short, your vehicle, they run a one part over one part. Or the worst, in an accident. Like, how do you come away from that? What do you take away from that? Ah, boy, Garfield Edwards is saying you can't go to the established or authorized car dealers to service your cars as they charge you to pull a nut and a separate charge to tighten the same nut. Devon White is saying most of our local mechanics need proper tools for their trades to do proper jobs. Yeah.
Yeah, drive you say me carry a full gas of car to the mechanic on time. Come forget your car and mechanic say gas tank. Yeah, wow. Mechanics, local mechanics, we need for shape up. We need for shape up. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for engaging with us and allowing, I mean, for sharing your own experience with us. It look bad, it sound bad, it is bad. Come on, we got to get this right. Fix things, because this is what you're here for, to fix things. The Business Report is up next.
Public Opinion was brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, industrial automation and control solutions.
Drive the most exciting new vehicles in Jamaica. Schedule your 2024 Ford Ranger pickup or Ford Everest 7-seater SUV test drive now. Call or visit KIG today.
The time by KIG is
6:34. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Nationwide's Business Report. I'm Robianne Williams. National Commercial Bank Jamaica Limited, NCB, says it has received a renewed vote of confidence from global credit rating agency Fitch Ratings. The ratings agency has affirmed the bank's long-term issuer default rating, IDR, at BB- with a positive outlook. NCB says this reflects its strong market leadership, solid capital base, disciplined risk management, and continued resilience in Jamaica's evolving financial landscape. Fitch Ratings is a leading global credit rating agency that evaluates the creditworthiness of financial institutions, governments, and corporations. A credit rating is a key indicator of a bank's financial strength and its ability to meet obligations. Now, NCB says this affirmation signals stability and instills confidence among investors, customers, and stakeholders. To other news now, China has called on the U.S. to cancel its sweeping tariffs on Chinese goods entering the country as a sign that the President Donald Trump is serious about resolving the trade war between the two countries. A Chinese official said there had been no trade talks with the U.S., despite suggestions otherwise from the Trump administration. The trade war between the world's two largest economies has been escalating, with China sending back Boeing planes it ordered from the U.S. in its latest retaliation over tariffs. But Trump has appeared to soften his stance on China, saying that the taxes he has so far imposed on Chinese imports would come down substantially, but it won't be zero. Yeah. All right. And finally, in the currency markets at the close of trading today, it cost 159 Jamaican dollars to buy $1 US, 210 Jamaican dollars and 44 cents to buy 1 British pound, and 115 Jamaican dollars and 10 cents to buy the Canadian dollar. That's the Business Report. I'm Robianne Williams. Have yourselves a wonderful evening.
A Campari Boulevard, Carnival Road, Mad Sunday. Time for left yard, make sure no reach Campari Boulevard. No flight performance, stage crossing. Come out with your crew, Campari flossing.
Join us at Campari Boulevard as we take over Emmanuel Road on Trafalgar Road like never before on April 27th, Carnival Sunday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Enjoy Campari drink specials all day. Watch revelers cross our epic Campari stage with Exodus and Yardmass. Admission free, and make sure you wear red. It's Campari Red Passion Carnival. Embrace the mix. Must be 18 years old. Let's drink responsibly.
New KFC Saucy Wings. Attention all wings lovers. KFC Saucy Wings with 2 new flavors. Saucy Wings. Mango habanero and buffalo. Hot, spicy. KFC we have Saucy Wings. Delicious, spicy, the best. So a new KFC Saucy Wings crush the rest. Nobody does wings like KFC. New Saucy Wings is for me.
New KFC Saucy Wings. Delicious, hot, and spicy wings tossed in savory mango habanero or buffalo sauce. Wings that will crunch the rest. New KFC Saucy Wings. It's finger licking good.
If it's in the public's interest, it's the nation's business during Nationwide at 5. the nation's business.
Hi there. Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, "By God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path." Unquote. Psalm 119, verse 105. Listen for God's Word weekdays at 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. through
Oasis. Stop by for a refreshing drink and share a God perspective for the day.
Oasis. Weekdays 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. right here on Nationwide, a revolution in media.
The rebroadcast of the Oasis can be heard weekdays at 5:45 a.m.
I'm Dennis Brooks.
I'm Alan Campbell.
I'm Floyd Green.
And I'm Garth Williams. Catch us on the Jamaican Dads podcast right here on Nationwide 90 FM, Thursdays at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m.
The Jamaican Dads podcast is all about providing men with a healthy, safe, and functional forum to tackle many of the taboo topics that concern our masculinity.
Like everyone else out there, we're dads of varying amounts of experience who come from different backgrounds and often view the world differently.
We're definitely not perfect, but we are all brethren and we're all committed to this piece of rock called Jamaica.
Too often, there are no safe spaces for men to explore the issues which are important to us.
Plus, most of the content out there about parenthood is produced by women, for women. So we think it is important that we be the change we want to see.
Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Jamaican Dads with a Z.
And definitely join us here on Nationwide 90 FM every Thursday at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m. for the Jamaican Dads podcast. It's a revolution in media.
Good evening. Thank you so much for staying with us here on Nationwide at 5. It's time for the nation's business. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Siobhan Campbell.
What's in the nation's business, Siobhan?
What is in the nation's business, Mr. Brooks?
Well, the Health Minister, Dr. Christopher Tufton, has announced that the administrative block on the main building of the Cornwall Regional Hospital has officially been reopened. The CRH commemorated the initial stages of its complete reopening, with the first stage being the administrative block. The office space will house approximately 22 team members, including the office of the CEO.
This block features enclosed offices, a kitchenette, restrooms, open offices, and reception and waiting areas. The Health Ministry says this marks a significant milestone in the completion of the renovation project of the hospital. The ministry says the administrative block now boasts a modern, fit-for-purpose finish and will set the standard for the future of healthcare.
It says with completed renovations, the Cornwall Regional Hospital is set to become the premier hospital in Western Jamaica and the Caribbean region, with state-of-the-art equipment, specialists, and facilities. The ministry says the investment to date has been approximately $1.8 billion. This entails the relocation of services at the hospital, and the ministry is saying that $3.9 billion was spent in Project 2. This entails the rehabilitation of the main building. The ministry says they are on for the completion of the rehabilitation by the end of the first quarter of next year.
Once completed, it says the total investment will amount to $23.5 billion. Cornwall Regional is the only Type A hospital in Western Jamaica. Noxious fumes forced the evacuation of services from the hospital's first 3 floors in February of 2017, and rehabilitation work started in 2018, with the cost of the project ballooning from an initial $2 billion. Well, the Health Minister, Dr. Christopher Tufton, joins us now to discuss further. Good evening, Dr. Tufton.
Hi, good evening to you and your listeners.
So this is the first date of the reopening. How soon after should we expect things to get into full gear?
Well, as said in your reporting, we have a timeline for first quarter next year for the full completion and the full re-engagement. However, the plan is to engage sections of the 10-story building on a periodic basis starting today. And then with time, maybe a few months, you'll go to other areas, and then it will keep moving until we get to the full completion. So today was quite symbolic, but also from a utility perspective important. We felt that the administrators of the institution needed to be in first. The procurement, accounting, general management, because they are the kind of the capacity that deals with coordination and the running of the institution. We're moving from there to some other areas to give support, like the server room, dietary, and so on. And then from there, we'll eventually get to ward spaces and so on. But there's working taking place on every floor of the building now. So you will hear more about other openings and re-engagement in the months to come.
Let me take a quick time signal. We're speaking to the Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. Christopher Tufton.
This time signal is sponsored by Janet Global Accreditation, an agency of the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce. The time is now
15 minutes to 7. Back with you, Minister Tufton. Now, I noticed you posted a brand spanking looking video on your social media pages. Sort of takes your followers through the facility, the administrative block. Talk to our listeners about some of the listeners, if you haven't seen it, you should perhaps hop on over to the minister's pages to look at it. Very modern looking facilities. Talk to us about some of the equipments and upgrades that are in this administrative block.
Well, it's ultra modern in that the look and feel of it is similar to any hospital anywhere in the developed world. The main entrance has comfortable seating, reception area, flat screen TV on the wall giving health information or otherwise. It's an open concept, so the staff are in their particular workstations with their desktop computers, with some offices for the critical management team, including the CEO. Very lovely, well spread out bathroom facilities, and a kitchenette that has, all the amenities of microwave, storage, refrigerator, and of course seating area, proper lighting, proper ventilation, and so on and so forth. So the reason why I said symbolic when I spoke earlier was because I'm hoping that just viewing what is presented today will give an indication of what the final product will look like, because this is a theme that will carry throughout the institution. Mm-hmm. I keep making the point that we're actually building a new hospital, even though the original frame is still there, had to be reinforced, but we had stripped it down, taken out everything, from the ward space to the flooring, to the windows, to the doors, to the piping, to the electrical, to the roof. And what we're now doing is building it back. And then included in that will be all new equipment. That the hospital will have 9 operating theaters from 5 originally. It will have twice the size of an A&E from what it was originally. It will have an additional 40 or 50 beds. And then when you add Western Health for 50 beds, it will be the largest concentration of hospital beds in the region, over 800 beds. No other institution has that on the island or in the Caribbean, except private. And so, we are really putting forward a very modern facility. And the opening today, while it doesn't solve all our problems, we have had many challenges. There was a lot of joy and a lot of hope and a lot of confidence by the team and those who witnessed it. And I'm hoping that becomes contagious as we look forward to the rest of the opening to come.
And certainly, Minister, what you're talking about is a very much expanded facility from what it was originally. So what about the staffing requirements? Has all that been worked out?
It is being worked out. So what are the challenges of health system strengthening which the government has embarked on is that while we build out, because remember now, Cornwall is not the only place. We have Spanish Town being built out, Hewitt to come, St. Anne's Bay, Maypen, and of course Western Child, which is happening as a brand new facility. We are going to have to deal with the HR requirements, which is why we had our expo, which is why we created the Barwin Scholarship to offer more incentives for people to study and to be retained. And certainly, which is why I went to India and the Philippines a few weeks back to discuss collaboration around training, faculty exchange, joint training, and ultimately, too, just as we do with Cuba, we may need to also source on a short-term basis external support for HR requirements that we have, depending on the scarcity. But we're focusing on training our locals first. So there is a HR plan. There are many gaps currently within the system, the structure, and we have to find ways to fill those gaps. But it's being actively pursued.
Mm-hmm. And I'm just asking our producer if we could just pull up the video that you posted, because as I watched the video, Minister, and it really, listeners, when you see it, you'll agree with me. It is impressive, modern, minimalist, beautiful furnishing. In fact, it looked more like a luxury apartment to me than a hospital. But here's my question, though, Minister. I immediately thought about maintenance, because, for example, the furnishings, all of that. To ensure that remains at the level that I see in that video, how are you going to ensure that massive hospital, because if this is the general ethos that will follow through to the entire building, maintenance is obviously going to be critical to keep it looking like that.
Right, and you're absolutely correct. And in fact, one of the Achilles heel of our health infrastructure is the poor maintenance and the challenge providers or our internal maintenance mechanism. So what we have done is developed a maintenance program to accompany the build-out. So in the first instance, there is a commitment on the part of the contractors, in this case, both for Western and Cornwall, to be present for up to a year after to deal with any potential defects or liabilities. But then for things like the equipment, and also to train a team and to expand the maintenance unit, and where necessary to provide a kind of ongoing outsourcing process of routine maintenance. The equipment that are going to be bought have to come with extended service arrangements. It's now a policy. So the days of buying things and not having a maintenance service contract, we have ended that because, again, it has been a real challenge. So maintenance is going to be absolutely critical. We have to learn from the Cornwall experience. The place collapsed because of poor maintenance. And so, yes, that is a lesson that we have learned, and we're working to put a system in place to deal with that.
And so you talked about the year, for example, the contractors remain for a year or continue to hold liability for a year, and they'll train. But that training, so we train people, and obviously we have a problem where some of our people, our best trained people, migrate. How do we ensure that the continuous passing on of the knowledge of how you maintain the equipment, maintain the look and feel, etc., that is maintained over a longer term?
The key has to be, to my mind, culture within the institutions that embraces routine maintenance. A leaking pipe may have problems, and that's exactly what has happened. So we have to redesign the protocol around routine maintenance, and we see it everywhere. We see the operating theaters at KPH. We don't shut down these facilities periodically to do deep cleaning and to spend time to avoid them shutting down by virtue of a crisis. So we're changing the protocol we have had some service level agreements that we have signed with the regional authorities for that kind of maintenance. But if I'm to be totally frank, we're going to have to embed in the culture a kind of change management function that may need to embed outside support and help for some of the changes that are necessary. I give you one is to get some biomedical engineers into our system, because the equipment in our institutions are poorly maintained. And we have to say it for what it is, poorly maintained. And it becomes a crisis, and everybody cries when it is a crisis because it's not working, whether it's the diagnostic equipment or an air conditioning unit. But nobody considers sufficiently anyway that during the period of it working, there's a time when you're going to have to clean it, you're going to have to gas it, oil it, look for any particular potential defects and address it. And a hospital is a very complicated plant. So biomedical engineers are going to be very important, just as a case in point, to ensure that the plant functions. And what we will have to do as part of the HR plan is to embed that kind of skill set, whether we train them locally or indeed we source them outside of Jamaica or jointly train them in collaboration with friendly bilateral partners, as we've tried to do now, or we're trying to do with India and the Philippines.
I'll share with you a response from a listener. The listener who is looking at the video, we are playing the video now on our YouTube platform for those in Radio Land. So if you can hop on over, you can look at the facility. And she's saying to say to you, Minister, that she believes this facility, based on its look, could also play a role in improving service delivery, because the environment is so elevated that she's expecting that service delivery will also be improved. Do you think that's reasonable?
Well, your workspace can be a significant motivation for efficiencies. Leadership is important in that regard. We certainly do not expect that we create, having placed so much investments in these new facilities, health information systems and so on, to have the same level of output, because that would mean that productivity has not increased. So that person is absolutely correct. What we have to do is put measures in place to measure productivity. And in our case, productivity is throughput. It's how many patients we can serve within a particular time. It's how we cut down on waiting time. The truth is that the demands on the system have increased significantly over time. So we need to expand the service offerings, which is why we're adding more people, more building space for A&E, for example, more equipment and more modern equipment like digital X-ray machines. But the people who manages all of this process have to also conduct themselves in a way. And what we want to do is to give them the workspace and the work environment that will enhance their incentive to be more productive.
And heavy weather, Minister, has been made of the price tag, moving from a mere $2 billion rehabilitation work to a $28 billion project, where one person is suggesting that we could have just built a new hospital. But essentially, that is what has happened here, Minister. The work has transcended just being a mere rehabilitation project.
It's not. It is. I think it's 23 point something. But yes, we keep saying that there is a qualitative distinction between a cost overrun and a rescoping of a project. And I know the detractors are not willing to accept that because it doesn't suit them. So they keep referring to cost overrun. I don't know if there are cost overruns in some areas. Maybe there are. I mean, the Auditor General is there auditing, and we would all like to know. In the case of an emergency procurement process where we have an essential service, decisions have to be made on the go, and we have to solve problems quickly because lives depend on it. But what I'll say, for the most part, the price tag for Cornwall Regional, by the way, we have only spent a fraction of that, 3.9 plus 1.8, not 23.5. That is just a forecasting of what is to be spent. But those costs are a direct result of bringing in the technical experts to reevaluate what it would cost to build a new hospital as opposed to fixing a ventilation system, which was the original intention. And hence, $3.5 billion of that amount is for equipment alone. CT scans, MRI machines, and all the critical technical equipment that's required. 1.8 billion of that amount was to build out services around the main building, to convert the Mount Salem Clinic into an A&E, to build to transform the nurses' quarters into inpatient care, to build out 2 operating theaters at Falmouth to do elective surgeries. That was spent to ensure that we had the services while the building was vacated and stripped down to be built back. So, when you get into the breakout of the expenditure, it is very much understandable as to why. Now, as it relates to a comparison with other building a new hospital, we had the expert from the U.S. coming in recently, and he looked at what we were doing and compared the square footage cost. And he said if we were building a similar hospital in the U.S., we'd spend twice as much. I think our square footage cost is somewhere in the region of $300 US or somewhere $350. They're building hospitals in the U.S. now for $800 US per square foot. So, I am comfortable to the extent that my general knowledge, I'm not involved in every single decision making on the day-to-day calculation, but I'm comfortable that the mission has been very purposeful. The objective of the government was to fix the problem once and for all rather than a band-aid approach, and the government committed the resources to do that. And I'm happy that today we at least got a glimpse of what is to come. And when it happens, I think the people of Western Jamaica and indeed the taxpayers will be very pleased.
And when you see that glimpse that you talk about, you say you're comfortable, but when you see the glimpse and you see what is to come, as you say, do you feel some amount of vindication? Because this is perhaps the project over which you've been most criticized in your tenure as health minister.
Yeah, I've learned to absorb criticisms and to stay focused on the stay the course. I've had the support of the cabinet and the honorable prime minister, and that was most important. I've told them the vision as to why this was important, and we have tried to keep the focus on the main prize, which is to produce a first-class hospital, which is well-deserving for the people of Western Jamaica. The criticisms will come and go, and it's part of the job. So I find a way to bounce them off, listen where I need to, or learn where I need to, recalibrate if I must, but not to allow it to paralyze my efforts, because that certainly wouldn't serve the greater good.
Final one from me. The People's National Party's spokesman on health has made heavy weather about this matter of a drill being bought. All that you've heard from Sarah and the Sarah chairman who reports to you, are you satisfied that there's nothing untoward that has happened?
I am quite disappointed in the utterances of the opposition spokesperson. Someone I know. I mean, he worked for public health. He was the SMO at Westmoreland Sub Hospital. So I've had a lot of time to interact with him, and he's quite qualified and a competent doctor. But I am amazed at his rhetoric on a number of things, even understanding the context of the politics, particularly in a case where he raised a concern. He was invited in, or he asked to be he was invited in to discuss it so that the process could be explained. I asked for a report on the matter. I didn't get too involved because the region was dealing with it. The process involved advertising for the product, an evaluation that involved 2 neurosurgeons. It is a neurosurgery, and to simplify, a brain and spinal equipment that does complicated surgeries for children, which carries several parts, because apparently the development of the brain and the skull requires a different kind of approach using the same type of equipment. So highly complicated. Neurosurgeons prepared the terms of reference. They evaluated. PPC, the document was considered and approved. So this was not just finding a little man on the corner. And certainly this is not a drill you can find in a hardware store. It is a highly complicated drill. So having explained all of that, and I am told him agreeing in the meeting, he then goes out and launches an attack and calls for the resignation of the chairman. It is unfortunate. I leave it at that. It is unfortunate. And we will just have to keep focus and do what we have to do. What we have now is a piece of equipment that we never had before, that I am told is one of a kind, not just in Jamaica, but the region, and that will save lives. And that is what, as far as I'm concerned, is important. The process was followed, the process right through to the end. PPC approved it, and so I don't see any reason to accuse anyone of corruption or indeed misinformation around how this process worked. And he seems to be having a hard time comprehending that. That's unfortunate.
An expansion to Mr. Brooks's question regarding some of the statements made by Dr. Dawes. Is the healthcare system in crisis, Minister? Is it on the verge of collapse, as some seem to believe?
Well, again, he has an approach of being very extreme and almost, as I say, hyperbolic in his description. He did it when the PNP was in office. He said that surgeons needed garbage bags to conduct surgeries. I don't know if that is the case. He's a surgeon, so he probably did that, so he knows. I think the health system is plagued and has been by a lot of legacy issues, undercapitalization, and to some extent some management issues that have been a challenge. It has not kept up pace with the population expansion, with the health profile that has deteriorated, earlier onset of illness, rise in cases like cancers, cardiovascular disease. I don't think that is impatient of debate. But I also think that it is this government over the 9 years, if you look at it objectively, that has done more to expand to meet the demands of the population. More in terms of budgetary allocation from 60 billion to 140 billion. More in terms of new services. More in terms of medication, over 3 million prescriptions. More in terms of more doctors and nurses through compensation review and expansion of permanent posts. So I would never be the one to say it is perfect, because it is not. And we do need to work on things like customer service and management of the institutions. And indeed, policy has to continue to evolve. But it is far better today than it was in 2015. And we're on a trajectory based on a 10-year strategic plan that is going to see more hospital beds, more operating theaters. And if you want to, tempt a controversy and political conversation, it is certainly in the best interest of the country for this to continue. And this administration, I believe, has laid out a plan that is clearer than any other administration before that. So what the opposition spokesperson should do is to challenge us on the policy, challenge us on the tangible data that is out there, but not identify anecdotes. We are always going to have imperfections. There's always going to be a mother who cries, which is unfortunate, or a piece of equipment that breaks down, which is unfortunate. But it's the nature of the science that we deal with. Let us look now at what is the direction we're going in and what is the greater good that is being served based on the work in progress and the things and the decisions that we have taken. On that score, I don't think he has an argument, which is why he nitpicks and pretends and uses particular anecdotes to generalize in terms of the nature of the system. But I think Jamaicans will see through that when the time is right. And I'm not ready to talk yet about the stewardship. I'm more focused right now on just continuing the work. The Prime Minister will determine when that kind of conversation becomes more necessary, and I'll certainly play my part in making a case for the government to continue.
When the time is right. Of course, one of the three major debates in the election usually focuses on social issues, and health, of course, is always top of that list. You'll recall, listeners, of course, that Dr. Tufton is no stranger to participating in those debates. Christopher Tufton is the country's Minister of Health and Wellness. Thank you so much for your time.
All the best. Bye.
We take the break, come back with more.
New KFC saucy wings. Attention all wings lovers, KFC saucy wings with saucy wings crunch the rest. Nobody does wings like KFC. New saucy wings is for me.
New KFC saucy wings. Delicious, hot, and spicy wings tossed in savory mango habanero or buffalo sauce. Wings that will crunch the rest. New KFC saucy wings. It's finger licking good.
Get the inside scoop. Tune in to Budget Bites, a brief breakdown of the 2025 budget presentation by Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness. It's an informative snapshot of the budget and what it means for you. Don't miss Budget Bites, bite-sized insights into the Prime Minister's vision for Jamaica. Budget Bites, unpacking the budget for you.
We do not only announce, we deliver, and we are breaking ground and commissioning water supply systems almost weekly. A proper account of the extensive work undertaken in every constituency would require us to be here all night. Very important one, the Western Parishes water supply. The severe drought which affected Western Jamaica disproportionately prompted the acceleration of major capital works to replace transmission main to Trelawney, St. James, Hanover and Westmoreland. This is a $28 billion 3-year project which will commence in May 2025 and reduce water insecurity and non-revenue water, and involves upgrading 28 kilometers of main transmission lines from St. James to Trelawney and 37.5 kilometers from Lucy to Negril. On completion, it will benefit over 250,000 residents and business customers and catalyze development in the key tourism sector. This is a game changer for water in the northwestern parishes. 6 major projects funded by the Caribbean Development Bank are being undertaken by the Rural Water Supply Limited, which will significantly improve access and transform the lives of more than 38,000 Jamaicans in rural areas of Southeast, Western St. Mary's, Southern Trelawney, Northeast St. Elizabeth, Eastern St. Thomas and Northwest St. Anne. Currently, the Rural Water Supply Limited and the CDB are finalizing the necessary documentation for procuring design services, with the advertisement expected to be published in March 2025. We've spoken extensively about the Greater Mandeville Water Supply Project, a $2.7 billion project which is spread over 5 years. We are midway the 5 years, and this project will reduce non-revenue water to below 50%, increase service reliability and quality, given that we are now building out new housing schemes in Mandeville and other areas. The Ray Corbry Water Plant Project, something that we have been talking about from 2009. I'm pleased to report that it is now finally in the construction phase, and we are targeting completion by the end of 2026. Others talk about it, we deliver it. Expansion of the sewer network in Kingston and St. Andrew is critical to the future development within the parish, both to facilitate greater densities and safeguard groundwater. This year, the NWC will be investing $1.4 billion into the laying of sewer lines along Monroe Road, Retreat Avenue, Seymour Avenue and Old Hope Road. Additionally, there are 2 areas of deep concern which must be addressed forthwith. The first is the situation in downtown Kingston with collapsing sewer mains. An overhaul of the entire potable water, sewage and drainage network is required for most of Central and West Kingston. I have directed Minister Samuda to ensure that the project design for this massive infrastructure is done this year. I have further directed that $450 million be immediately deployed to the worst affected areas within the Market District to provide immediate relief. The NWC has also commenced procurement of an additional HVAC truck to be stationed downtown to ensure that any blockages that emerge are immediately dealt with. The infrastructure is old, it is aging and collapsing. Decades of no investment, it is now showing. And it is this administration that is finding the economic wherewithal to deal with the maintenance of these critical infrastructure. We have now started the distribution of the Black Tank program. MPs are now collecting and distributing tanks in their constituencies. We hope that that can move very quickly to mitigate any impact of drought. In November 2024, I announced that the NWC would provide an amnesty to customers cut off from the utility for more than 6 months. The amnesty has benefited pensioners, path recipients and members of the disabled community with up to 100% reprieve and up to 50% for other categories of customers. As at March 14, 2025, over 21,000 customers had engaged in the process. Total reconnections so far are 3,271, with a further 5,135 awaiting reconnection. This has yielded over $207 million in revenues collected for the NWC, and that would have been uncollectible otherwise. We have also written off over $600 million of debt from those who most need it, restoring the supply of water and returning dignity to those households. This government is helping our most vulnerable. As such, I have instructed the National Water Commission to extend the program for a further 2 months. We do this because we care about the people.
The proceeding was brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
Whether you buy it, build it, or improve it, it's time to home it with the National Housing Trust. Join us as we follow the journey of one couple and their friends towards a more secure future for their families. Home It is brought to you by the NHT, the key to your home.
All right, Lee, try it now. Come here, man. Me know is what.
I the same thing from last time, don't? Boy, Hakeem, me nah tell you no lie. Me feel say me I go give up the route taxi business and build up some charter customer like you, you know.
Anyway, you take it is a hustle, my youth.
But my thing hard up on the vehicle higher.
We definitely have to go buy the part, brother. Come here, man, because me soon have to go carry my wife go to work.
Sure. What's the whole heap of fear with me and miss, man? Sure.
You know easy, you know. Think you're tired of the work.
You know, listen me, you know. Me love my work. Me no love what it do to me vehicle. Me is a people person, Zine. Me love deal with people and listen to them story. A page up more time. Just want better for myself, man. Not a day no pass so me no think about getting somewhere to live.
Me no understand why more self-employed people no contribute to NHT. So them can get them own house and land. If you not do that, coming like you just a work for put food in your belly and nothing else.
How we are talk about? Most of them people that barely earn minimum wage. Well, them forget house money out of that.
Look, NHT have... How do that, brother, man? Hey, STOP means stop, not hesitate.
Me like that one there.
You can borrow it. Same way people need to STOP and think about them future. If you check it out, from you contribute you look at 3% of your earnings. After 1 year you can apply for a loan, you know. Whether you build on your land or buy one little place.
Why? Me no know.
Hey, me check everything, you know. NHT have a thing them call home grant. After 7 years, people who earn $15,000 or less can get a grant to top up the amount when them eligible for.
Alright. So I like my cousin who I do help her work. She a contribute for the 7 years, but her friend them tell her, based on her age, she now get anywhere near the 7.5 million that NHT lend.
See it there? Fake news. She should go on NHT and find out for herself, brother. Them have home grants for people like her that can bring her up to the full 7.5 million, or at least near to it.
Then 7.5 million, no more can do something, man.
Start contributing, Lee. From your left, Mr. Mac, you stop. And yet Mr. Mac live in his own house. You better start build your own.
As soon as the car fix, man.
You hear you? Man, you not enough to live in your car. Shanice, wake up. I have an idea. If Lee cousin a contribute to NHT for 7 years now, you know, say on top of the home grant, she can get 6 years worth of whatever contribution she have there. And that can help with her deposit, lawyer fee, or things like that. Them call it CRTD. Contributions refund towards deposit.
I have a better idea. Why you not go look work at NHT?
If you are self-employed, start your home ownership journey by becoming a registered taxpayer, which will include making quarterly contributions to the NHT. Visit nht.gov.jm to find out more. Yes, you can home it with NHT and get the key to your home.
A Campari Boulevard, Carnival Sunday. Time for left here, make sure no reach Campari Boulevard. No live performance, stage crossing. Come out with your crew, Campari flossing.
Join us at Campari Boulevard as we take over Emmanuel Road on Trafalgar Road like never before on April 27th, Carnival Sunday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Enjoy Campari drink specials all day. Watch revelers cross our epic Campari stage with Exodus and Yardmass. Admission free and make sure you wear red. It's Campari Red Passion Carnival. Embrace the mix. Must be 18 years old. Let's drink responsibly.
Multi-link, access every time, everywhere I go. Multi-link, 24/7 access for me. It's just a win-win when we use multi-link. This card is Jamaican built, yeah. Fast and secure, you can use anywhere. Spend while supporting the economy.
Look for the multi-link logo on your card and benefit from Jamaica's largest debit payment network.
Multi-link, 24/7 access for me.
What would I do without my multi-link?
Tune in to CliffViews Online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. as we broadcast live from Beats and Brand Live at the Emancipation Park on Friday, April 25. Beats and Brands Live is the ultimate celebration of music, creativity, and innovation. This exciting event is part of Intellectual Property Week and brings together the vibrant worlds of business and entertainment under the theme IP and Music, Feel the Beat. Expect a mini expo, live concert, giveaways, and the official opening ceremony, all for free. Vibe with artists, entrepreneurs, and industry insiders powered by Jaipo in partnership with Jaria and other creative powerhouses. Don't miss this fusion of culture, creativity, and commerce. It's where beats meet brands. So tune in to CliffViews Online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's the Beats and Brand Live at the Emancipation Park on Friday, April 25. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the Jamaica Intellectual Property Office.
I'm Dennis Brooks.
I'm Alan Campbell.
I'm Floyd Green.
And I'm Garth Williams. Catch us on the Jamaican Dads podcast right here on Nationwide 90 FM, Thursdays at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m.
The Jamaican Dads podcast is all about providing men with a healthy, safe, and functional forum to tackle many of the taboo topics that concern our masculinity.
Like everyone else out there, we're dads of varying amounts of experience who come from different backgrounds and often view the world differently.
We're definitely not perfect, but we're all brethren and we're all committed to this piece of rock called Jamaica.
Too often, there are no safe spaces for men to explore the issues which are important to us.
Plus, most of the content out there about parenthood is produced by women, for women. So we think it is important that we be the change we want to see.
Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Jamaican Dads with a Z.
And definitely join us here on Nationwide 90 FM every Thursday at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m. for the Jamaican Dads podcast. It's a revolution in media.
Hi there. Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, "By God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path." Unquote. Psalm 119, verse 105. Listen for God's Word weekdays at 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. through
Oasis. Stop by for a refreshing drink and share a God perspective for the day.
Oasis. Weekdays 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. right here on Nationwide, a revolution in media.
The rebroadcast of the Oasis can be heard weekdays at 5:45 a.m.
Welcome back, listeners and viewers. We're going to turn to an international story now. Pakistan has responded with tit-for-tat measures against India as tensions soar following a militant attack in the Indian-administered Kashmir that killed 26 tourists on Tuesday. Islamabad on Thursday suspended all visas issued to Indian nationals on an exemption scheme with immediate effect. It also expelled some of its neighbors' diplomats. In addition, Pakistan has suspended all trade with India and has closed its airspace and land border.
The measures follow the imposition of sanctions by India. Tuesday's attack saw a group of gunmen fire on tourists near a resort in the disputed Himalayan region. Indian police have named 3 of 4 suspected gunmen behind the attack, saying 2 are Pakistani citizens and a third is a local Kashmiri man. Pakistan denies India's claim that it played a role in the shooting. The attack marks the deadliest militant attack in Kashmir since 2019. We have more in this report from the BBC.
Kashmir's famed beauty that draws masses of visitors to it is today the backdrop for some of the worst violence it's witnessed in the past 2 decades. These are the moments when gunmen opened fire at tourists in Pahalgam's meadows. Footage verified by the BBC. Dozens were killed. This photo has become a defining image. Himanshi Narwal's red bangles identify her as a new bride. The gunman said, "My husband doesn't look like a Muslim," and then he shot him. She's heard saying in this video, suggesting that some of the victims were targeted on the basis of their religion. Married less than a week ago, her husband was 26, a naval officer. They were on their honeymoon. Nearly all of those killed were from outside Kashmir. These ambulances took the bodies of the dead to the airport, followed by buses which carried their families, to be flown out to their hometowns in different corners of India.
This is a region that's not a stranger to conflict. It's faced an armed insurgency for more than 35 years. But rarely in those 3.5 decades have we seen an attack directed at tourists on this scale.
In South Kashmir, another home in grief. This is the family of Syed Adil Hussain, the only local man who was killed. He took people around Pahalgam on horseback and is believed to have been shot dead trying to protect a tourist. There's no one to care for us now. We don't know what we'll do without him, his mother wept. In shock and anguish, Kashmir shut down for the day. This is Srinagar's central market. Locals marched on the streets condemning the attack. "Stop the brutal murder of our guests," they chanted. I asked Miraj, a local trader, why he was protesting.
We are standing in solidarity with the people who were killed. They were our guests. This should not have happened. We are all in shock. The perpetrators should be severely punished.
Indian security forces are still searching for the attackers. What's happened at this location will have deep ramifications for the region and for the already fraught ties between India and Pakistan.
And there you have it from the BBC, the attack on tourists in the Indian, what's the term? Indian administered location of Kashmir, long-standing flashpoint between the two nations of India and Pakistan, both making claim to the entirety of the region, but it has not been settled to this date. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, just to add, has said India will punish every terrorist and their backers following the attack, and they have identified 3 of the alleged attackers as Pakistanis, that is according to the Indian police.
Yeah. Troubled times in the world, yeah? 28 minutes after 7, we're going to take your calls now. The numbers 630-9371-4, 618-8255.
It's Monday, get over your blues. Or Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the E-Zone is here for you. With this thing, Honeybee
and Karim Boyatings
from 3 to 5 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM.
We've got your entertainment news.
Then we want to hear your views. Why you say?
Jump in the mix.
Or the hot seat.
Don't miss our brain busters.
Or the crazy giveaways.
Let's talk fashion.
Send us your outfit of the day. Ooh, cutesy. Very demure.
Are you looking for love?
Come on one of our blind dates. Send your request to ezoneblindates@gmail.com. That's ezoneblindates@gmail.com.
And stay tuned for your confessions.
These are my confessions. Share them with us at ezoneconfessions@yahoo.com. I mean, is this planet Earth?
Is it?
I don't know. Let me check. Either way, it's got a buzz.
And a bugger thing.
Ow! Ow!
Tune in to Cliff Views Online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. as we broadcast live from Beats and Brand Live at the Emancipation Park on Friday, April 25. Beats and Brands Live is the ultimate celebration of music, creativity, and innovation. This exciting event is part of Intellectual Property Week and brings together the vibrant worlds of business and entertainment under the theme IP and Music, Feel the Beat. Expect a mini expo, live concert, giveaways, and the official opening ceremony, all for free. Vibe with artists, entrepreneurs, and industry insiders powered by Jaipo in partnership with Jaria and other creative powerhouses. Don't miss this fusion of culture, creativity, and commerce. It's where beats meet brands. So tune in to Cliff Views Online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's the Beats and Brand Live at the Emancipation Park on Friday, April 25. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the Jamaica Intellectual Property Office.
Welcome back, listeners and viewers. We are now taking your calls. The numbers are 630-937-124 and 618-8255. Faithful, you're on the line. Good evening.
Good evening, Siobhan. Good evening, Mr. Brooks. Welcome back, Mr. Brooks.
Thank you. Hello, Faithful.
Yeah, man, get thanks. 80. I heard Mr. Golden, former Prime Minister, give a statistic. He said there are about 10,000 gang in Haiti, in the capital, Port-au-Prince, and say about something like about 7,000 policemen and of the sort. And he declared that he don't think the power have done enough for Haiti. Question: what can be done for Haiti?
At this point?
Yes.
That is the million-dollar question. I suppose the attempt is to stabilize the situation so they can hold elections and bring some level of normalcy to the country and order, so to speak.
Yeah, but what does that look like in other words? Some soldier left from Kenya, one would presume with the aid financing by America.
That would presume that is what happened.
Right.
One would presume.
Right, but Mr. Golden is saying that, former Prime Minister Golden is saying that they have not done enough for Haiti. And in my mind, Haiti is bleeding. But at the same time, it's a very difficult situation because what more should we do for Haiti and what does that look like? I'm trying to work out that in my head. What does that look like?
The kind of significant force required to intervene in Haiti is not something that currently exists outside of very specific military powers, and those military powers do not want to directly intervene due to the historical context.
Right, and does the people in Haiti would want that also?
There has been quite a few protests about even the idea of powers such as the United States or France even setting foot in that country again.
So Diego, my question: what should we do to help Haiti, and what does that look like? How? I'm trying. I don't know. You have the answer.
I don't have that answer, unfortunately, Faithful. But we can't simply leave it to fester. I mean, it is close. They're our neighbors. They're part of CARICOM. It's not a situation that can be easily ignored. But in terms of what is needed and how we resource the response properly required to stabilize things over there, I'm just as much at a loss as you.
Can they decapitate a what I heard on the news that they decapitating soldiers' head and send messages and they take out the head as trophy. So the only way to do that is to fight power with power. And if you go and start, some person start to get there, you're going to say the outside force come to brutalize the people of Haiti. So I don't know. I wish somebody could tell me Pan-Africanists and those of us who say we love Haiti and we not treat Haiti right and all of this thing. How you think? I would like somebody to tell me how they think the problem could solve in Haiti.
All right,
it's not looking good.
All right, Faithful.
All right, Faithful. Thank you for the call.
Papa Nana, good evening.
Yes, sir. How you do?
Doing all right. How are you?
You know, so me all right. You know, Mr. Brooks.
Mm-hmm.
You all right, my son?
Yes, man.
Yes. Yeah, me not going to go too easy with you this evening, but I just want to say I don't understand this thing here when it comes to the Haitian business here. Because if people in there like what is going on and say some country not to go in there, that means to say some of them, majority of them would be pleased of what is going on. So what can you do then?
No, it's not. It's not that they're pleased with what's going on. There's a history to intervention in Haiti, right? They've been an occupied country, and whenever there have been interventions, in many ways, the aftermath is usually just a horrible situation. I mean, whether it be the UN, United States, of course, their history with France. So it's a little bit more complex than them just not wanting outsiders because they think they can manage it. But it's more a situation of their past and their experiences with intervention. Those who come bearing gifts and say they're coming with good intentions, it's not always worked out well for the Haitians.
But you don't know what is my greatest problem. Can you imagine all of those people who is running away from Haiti coming to Jamaica, put on full road them where we have here. You know, since we that soon turn Haiti if we don't curb the Haitian from coming here too.
I mean, there's obviously a problem or a concern of, you know, a security concern for Jamaica, and I suppose it's also a social concern of our borders being overrun. I know other countries in the region have faced that problem. The Bahamas, for example, grappled with that problem. Of course, you know, the Dominican Republic has also had that problem. So that's a concern, Papa Nana, not going to lie to you. And I think that's part of the reason why our Prime Minister or Foreign Minister as well, they've taken such an interest in this because of our proximity in terms of distance to Haiti. It's not very hard to get to, for example, Portland, and we've seen Haitians, you know, coming ashore in Portland. So it is a concern, yes.
Yeah, but you have people who fight us down, and we don't have no human raising us any sympathy and the quarrel when the Haitians come here. And if they get in on top of the gunman out here now, there is a problem because it shouldn't be the gunman who lost their life. It should be the other way around. And I don't understand people who really say they are human rights. Because
I don't think that's a fair characterization, though, Papa Nana.
I would expect you to say.
No, man. No, I don't think they're saying. I don't think they're. Well, I know, but I don't think they're saying that the police should have been killed instead. I don't think that's what they're saying.
So how much of them you ever hear demonstrate when they kill a police?
Okay, that's a
legit. You ever hear human rights come out and demonstrate so then kill a police or kill a breadwinner? You ever hear them tell me?
No, I have not. That's a legitimate question.
Right. So let me ask you one simple question, sir.
Yes, sir.
Those people never have any right to life?
Absolutely.
All right. Anyway, let me give you one piece of question now before we leave.
Oh, wow.
Because let me tell you something.
And me, I get the question personally, or Siobhan? I mean, just come back, you know. I mean, just come back. So I can't me.
No, I can't you. Me, I make you rest because.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Listen, let me tell you something. Today, I sit down and, as you know, it's a nationwide me listen to.
Yes.
And it's 3 cars coming to the whole day from the public, 3 cars.
From the who? Oh, from the public, yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And let me tell you something. I know that you don't have no bills to pay.
Uh-huh.
I can't tell you how to run the thing, but it is getting less and less
Oh,
3
meaning
calls coming today.
meaning
The
for Cliff
program
Hughes
start-
online?
The program starts 10 o'clock.
Mhm.
You listen me good.
Mhm.
Me know other people want come in. The program starts 10 o'clock, right?
Yes.
And I'm very cut up about it. Mark you, the opening remark is very, very good.
Uh-huh.
But I think it is too long. Sometimes it's a 45 minute you people talk. Good?
Yes.
All right.
I don't know you people, a Cliff.
I
Call
don't
him
I
name,
don't
a Cliff.
No, because that him are the younger one.
Okay.
Not because he is the younger one. Me now call no name, but if you call name, me will answer.
Cliff, yeah, Cliff.
No, me not call Mr. Cliff. Anyway, you get 2 calls maybe before 11 o'clock. At 11 o'clock, maybe you don't have a program. 11:30, he finish, and 25 minutes to 12. 25 minutes to 12, you people will have 2 to 3 calls. 12 o'clock, you take the news. After the news, I just want you to check the time, let me know. After the news, where the lady name come on, the news and sport, she come on when you honeybees.
Honeybee, yes.
Honeybees, all right. Good. After that, 8 minutes, maybe you may get 2 calls, or maybe you don't get none at all. And it stop 8 minutes to 1. Then Liza Gale come on. And I done it done for the day. We need more calling time. You understand? We need a little more calling time, man.
We will pass on your concerns to the producers and Mr. Hughes.
In fact, I'm telling Cliff as we speak. I'm telling Cliff and the producer about your concern, Papa Nana.
Yes, man, it's concern, man. I tell you, man, when you sit down there, and it looked to me like Mr. Trump tariff hit nationwide, you know. Because very, very costly to get to you people nowadays. You know how long we have to sit down and wait before we can hear. I wonder if you know how important nationwide is to we, man.
All right, so you need more time on the calling program in the...
Yes,
okay.
yes, sir. Plenty more time, plenty more time, sir.
All right, I just sent it to them. I just told them.
All right, sir. Plenty more time. I want to take care of yourself. Yes, sir?
All right.
All right, Papa Nana.
Yes, sir. God bless you. Sir.
All right.
Good,
you know,
good,
I
good.
appreciate listeners like Papa Nana, you know. I mean, clearly he cares about the product. He cares about the show.
Detail
and-
the schedule from...
Yeah, no, and he
from
knows
go
it well.
to go.
Yes, I listened today, so he's right. And he values the show, you know, such that, you know, he'll call in and complain that the listener's not getting enough time. If Cliff responds during the course of the rest of the show, I'll, of course, tell Papa Nana what he says. Who's next? Carl, good evening.
Evening, Shava. Evening, Ricardo.
How you doing, my friend?
Midday, man.
Tell me something before you start. What day about a month ago, you tell me, say, I must look out for something.
It still is on the...
It's okay. All right. All right. Nothing else, my boss. All right. It's still our work, man.
Anyhow,
All right. Cool.
We never supposed to make no call tonight, me. I mean, just start out something today. On my body, and so what? I just say go. It's not too bad. I mean, if I get myself ready for do what the white man now. Anyhow, me never fi call tonight, but I can't let go doors. And I hear the British citizen in sentence one day last week. So I have to move with them 2 there. Daz come with a story yesterday evening, swing. And no time after Daz come with a misleading story. A medical person sending some email and say him refused to shake Daz's hand, and that is what caused him the problem. Today,
Wait, hold on. Wait. Hold on. What? Who refused to shake Daz's hand?
Where medical person name again? So this morning read on your 6 o'clock news. You never get to listen to it.
Oh, I didn't hear that. Okay.
But they read on 6 this morning, but we never get to listen to 7 o'clock.
Yes.
And him saying refuse to shake Daz's hand. And that's where him say, in all of the looking about the machine where Daz cost $31 million and it cost too much. He say him and Daz was at the desk. And him say them did agree on everything. So if you hear Daz come out yesterday
I see.
evening,
Yes.
it is misleading. And him send out some email also concerning some of the discussion him and Dawes did have and all kind of things.
Oh, the YouTubers are telling me Wentworth Charles, the chairman of Sarah.
Yes, you say me a listen, man.
Yes, okay, yes.
100%.
Right, the chairman of Sarah, yes.
Right, and him send out some documents and all kind of things.
Yes, he did send out the documents to the media, yes.
Right, and rebut what Dawes have said. Now, as a principal person, you know, if you just say, man, rebut Dawes yesterday evening and put out those emails to show what was everything. You know, if you just say Dawes should have put out back something this evening and say, well, I mislead the country. Be very honest to me.
Yeah, I will be very honest to you. No, I don't expect that to come. Here's why. I have, over the last maybe 6 months, read almost every media release issued by Dr. Dawes. He seems to have a favorite word, the word crisis.
Yes.
He uses that word a lot, you know, he belabors it. I'll be very honest with you. I do not place great store anymore on the media I'm not going to be personal, on the media releases issued from Dr. Dawes. It is clear what he's doing and what he's attempting to do.
So
and I suppose hold on, and I suppose in the cut and thrust of politics, we've come to accept that kind of thing. But I heard Dr. Tufton use a word today, and I think I would adopt it as well. Hyperbolic.
I mean, never get to listen.
Yes,
Minister.
the minister responded. But I suppose that's a politics, Kyle. I suppose that's a politics.
But, so are you saying to me then, before me go to the British citizen now, that if you see Dawes put out anything, you don't have to bother look at it? Because it's a misleading
that is a dangerous... that's
not what I'm saying. Yeah, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying I wouldn't look at it. I mean, certainly this media house largely carries where there's news value. But I'm saying when I see them, I don't immediately think, okay, this is of grave national importance.
It harms his own credibility. I
Precisely.
Don't know if he understands.
All right, fair enough. We clear up that one.
Yes.
The British citizen was there in St. Anne sometime since week here.
Mr. Mark Golding was in St. Anne.
And him said the Prime Minister been investigated, and the Prime Minister is now put it into court to clear himself. Can you tell me when that was up?
To clear himself.
To clear himself.
I think the words Mr. Golding used specifically was to have the charge of illicit enrichment struck out.
And if it clear himself here, must have been a bright man.
I think he's referring to in terms of
he wanted the report
Integrity
quashed.
Commission could specifically use.
He wanted the report quashed, yes.
Right.
Is my recollection of the fact.
Let me ask you something. I'll be taking this and you're a bright person. I have a combination, right? You know, kind of teach me some sense. The Farmer Integrity Commission carry a auditor come to Jamaica a 6 full month to check if the Prime Minister left Kingston to in a Clarendon here or St. Elizabeth, and he stop on the way and drink a jelly coconut, and if a $400 for a jelly coconut or $500 for one whole one if it's big. And the Prime Minister back out $1,000 and we said to the man, say, have that. Or if he go on his trip on Friday night and he stop out one night, in people them stall and you know them a go if him order Sarah, you know, now make the bill run over 20,000. Like, you know, so them up for the bill because I Prime Minister. If I ever am a minister, so I run. Me never do it to Pernell yet. I need to start.
Yes, your fast you say that?
You can't ask him. Pernell, I'm a good man. Pernell a good boy to me. I don't have to worry. Good boy. I can hear me can call him boy. Good boy. Anyhow, and then carry an auditor come in here for over 6 months, and the auditor couldn't find if the Prime Minister bought a greater cake and forget.
Well, I don't know what the auditor looked into because we were never provided with a report or that final report from the
and
auditors.
I'm
not sure.
I think the new commissioner,
the chairman,
need to put out this thing. It need to come out.
Yeah, I would support that. I would support it being sent to the parliament for
only way
tabling.
we will have any trust into that place after who them was there is to put out that audit.
I would support that. I think it should be sent to the parliament for
Should
tabling.
be sent to the parliament now.
Why did that not form part of the appendices to the report?
Yeah.
The next thing becoming was a word for people are wait. I think come next week Tuesday, Hotburn Flynn, Pernell Charles Jr., Darrell Vaz, and Mr. Warmington must rise inside the parliament and ask the British citizen to provide some documents inside the parliament, lest he must not come back here unless he have the documents to show that he give up his citizenship.
Carl?
Yes, please.
Let's say I take you at your best, and let's say Mark Golding has not renounced his British citizenship. Hold on,
Ricardo.
Yes.
You're going to exactly what I want.
No, well, let me finish.
Right.
Let's say you are correct, and I rather doubt you are, but let's say
No,
you are.
you're not-
Hold on. I rather doubt you are, but let us say you are.
Careful. I don't think you should use that word. That word.
I rather doubt you are.
Okay,
But let us say, hold on now, but let's take it for granted that you are.
Yes.
There would be no basis on which any member of the House of Representatives could stand and say Mr. Golding has no place in the House of Representatives.
And I agree with you.
Under Jamaican law,
I
a
agree
British
with you.
citizen is entitled. Okay.
I have no, but hold on. For a personal, that's where I want to take you, and you went right where I want you to go. For Mr. Golding now to be going around and showing a document which is not correct, that's why I want.
Why do you say it is not correct?
Ricardo.
Actually, no. Don't answer that. Don't answer that. Carl.
Yes, please.
Carl.
Yes, please.
I think your energies are best directed elsewhere, and we've had this conversation before,
No, but
so, for example, hold on. Let me help you. Today, there was a major development at the Cornwall Regional Hospital, and you don't come to talk. You don't come to talk about that. You come to gripe about Mr. Golding's citizenship. But I'm leaving you. I've given you enough time. Good evening, Carl. William. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Campbell. Good evening, Mr. Brooke.
Hello, William.
Good evening.
Yeah, we have a concern here pertaining to the Water Commission. I heard this evening on the news where this trailer were going down from the western can some cement, and the Water Commission said dig up the road and leave this big hole where the trailer drop into, and it down about 3 light posts and damage some other building and these things and turn over.
That's in St. Anne?
Right. When I don't know if the government or Water Commission are part of government, are we, the city of this country, again, World Water Commission accountable for some of these things what they're doing? Because remember, we are the people who paying them,
I'm sorry.
the director
I'm
or
sorry.
the chairman. Huh?
I'm sorry. You're saying it has been confirmed that there was a ditch left open by the Water Commission.
Yeah, to what the news say? They dig out somewhere that.
I'm assuming you mean the news elsewhere. You heard that elsewhere?
I heard it on the news. I remember, but I know I heard it on the news.
Right, but not on Nationwide. You heard it elsewhere.
I don't sure no. I will say yes or no.
Yeah, I don't think we've reported that. Certainly have not seen that.
But you're supposed to heard about it though.
I heard about the truck overturning. Yes. But let me just double check that we've not reported that. So but I don't have that information that it was a NWC ditch. So I'm a little bit cautious about allowing you to continue, William, because I'm not sure. I can't verify that is actually so.
Well, if it's not Water Commission, look at what I'll job at that. But the bottom line, these huge walls should never in a public road.
Yes.
For a turn over trailer loaded with cement.
Agreed.
That's a 3 light post, man, and that is break down.
and damage to other buildings. You know how much people could be damaged or get dead through that one hole?
No, I agree with you, William. And in fact, I love to celebrate what I call the PB, the Paul Bogle Highway that goes out to my side of the island. They're constantly digging up that new highway, constantly, and leaving some of those, they're not really trenches, but, unsettled roadway just there. And what happens sometimes is that you drive on it in the morning, and so you don't expect there to be a disturbance, and so you come up on the disturbance, you have to slow down fast, and then people have to swerve. So it poses problems. And in the case of the highway going out to the east, sometimes there's no sign that tells you that work is in progress or there's some kind of disturbance. So it is a problem. I agree with you, it's a problem, the way they dig up the road all the time.
And one other little thing about the same road there, I heard last week on this program, I heard a lady was talking about the flat bridge after the vehicle go over.
Yes.
That she lives, I think, in Linstead, and there was a pothole on the bridge. I don't remember if Siobhan
on
can
flat
remember.
bridge?
On the flat bridge.
Oh, a pothole?
Right. I don't remember if Siobhan remember last week, that lady. I think it was last week, Thursday. I think she was the last or second to last caller.
Oh.
And she said she lives in Linstead and she knows that pothole. I would like somebody to check it out for if it's true and find out fix a pothole on the bridge and be there that it create problem.
I've never seen a pothole on the flat bridge, but all right. Thank you for
that's
the call,
why I
William.
want somebody to check it out for really if it's true, but anybody who was listening to the program would be here.
Yeah.
I think Tyrone or somebody else was on the program when she was speaking, if I can remember clearly.
But here's what I suggest though, William. For the NWC concerns regarding digging up the road, you can give Nora a call in the morning at 9, because she usually has good contacts with the NWC. So you could probably check whether any hole or trench is is actually a result of the NWC.
Yeah, man. Make sure kind of check it out to find out.
All right. And she'll check it out for you. Thanks, William.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Cool. Yeah, but no, as a general problem, are you looking at the live stream?
Yes, interesting enough, you can look at the Flat British Live, and I don't see anything that
looks like a pothole. Maybe that's no. Well,
I don't see anything that would suggest that there's a pothole on the Flat Bridge itself.
But as a general thing, though, that digging up is a real problem.
Yes.
And I'm just using this point of privilege to advocate for my PB, my Paul Bogle Highway. It's a nice piece of road. Nice.
And there doesn't seem to be any coordination between the NWC and the NWA in terms of how they operate in that manner.
And I think that's a problem. Papa Nana, I've gotten a response for you from Sir Cliff. He says he's heard you and the Cliff Hughes Online team will make the necessary changes. So Papa Nana, Cliff says he hears you, he understands, and they will make the necessary changes.
The listeners want more Cliff.
Yeah, he has not tried to defend it. He says he's heard you and they'll attend to it. All right, Papa Nana? So you don't have to be cut up about it. Yeah? Yeah. I see Rick NYCJM is saying that it was Emily. A caller was talking to Emily about the pothole on Flatbridge. Okay. Well, we're not seeing one on the live stream, so I'm not sure if
there could be the makings of one. It's just not quite
a pothole
at this distance identifiable
as a pothole. But better coordination between the agencies would be good, so that the road can be maintained. Because in my case, it's a nice piece of road, and
and the expense that went into building that highway.
And I'd love to see it maintained and maintained for quite some time. Remember the concoction, Ricardo? What concoction, PB? Remind me. Corinne says, Ricardo, the host opening remarks will be less than 20 minutes. Well, I'm not going to tell Cliff I'm not going to tell him how to run his show, but he says that he has heard and he will make the necessary changes. Marcos wants more African news. Okay, that's something we can take on for the international. That's not hard to do. We can look at the continent more. Yeah. So Papa Nana's opened up the floodgates now. Everybody's saying how they want programming to change. Yeah, Everton says there's no pothole on the flat bridge. Him not too long drive pan it. Yes, and Verily Green says none was on the flat bridge on Sunday. Carlene says, welcome back, Ricardo. Hello, Carlene. I missed you. PB says, rum, lime, and honey. You know, I'm not actually hoarse, you know, PB. I don't know. Maybe I grow up. So, you know, voice have to get deep sometime and, you know.
I think you would have passed that stage a long time ago, Mr. Brooks.
That's might it, you know. I'm just like, you know. Yes, yeah, understand, Brooks. Yeah. Ladies in my voice getting a bit deep, so, you know. That's good. All right, that's all the time we have. Special thanks to our hardworking producer. Listeners, let me tell you something. While I was on leave, 3 times Dana messaged me to tell me that she missed me. 3 times. In fact, so much did Dana miss me that even her grandmother started to miss me as well. And I have never, in all the time I've been on Nationwide at 5, felt so loved by Dana Davy. When she saw me this morning, she actually screamed. Dana Davy, thank you so much for your hard work. Bugs, when Bugs on the book say, hey. But you know how he does, you know. He's never excited. He's never excited. Andrew Glenn Anderson, our colleagues in the newsroom, the very best in the business. Jacqueline Chambers Cole. Good evening, Grandma. Our colleagues in the newsroom, the very best in the business, led by our editor, Cara Paul. Cara also missed me. Cara gave me a big hug. Yeah, no, I was missed. I was missed. Yeah, she talked about that. Yeah, okay, fine. Our sponsors, contributors, and you, our valued listeners. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Shafon Campbell.
Say good night.
Have a good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
At night. Have to say good night.
Are you ready?